We're opening the meeting. Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Councilmember Giroux.
Here.
Councilmember Nickel.
Here.
Councilmember Perstuck.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel.
Here.
Mayor Boyles.
Here. Great. All right, thank you. We're going to have Councilman Henry lead the pledge. If you could all please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Madam Clerk, is there any other official business before we get started? We're not required to do public comments, are we? Okay, thank you. Okay, so it's really great to see everybody back for Civic Day Part 2. It's good to be back doing this after a few-year reprieve. And I want to welcome some people from the school district that are here today. Oh, I just see that Tracy Miller-Zarnicki just showed up. It's from the school board. Let's give her a round of applause. Perfect timing. Daima, are you here? Daima Wheaton, school board member also. Thank you for being here, and vice president. We've got Paulette Caudell from the school board as well. Marisa Janicek, thank you for being here, assistant superintendent. And is the principals, Ali Rabihi here? No? But we have Sarah DeBlantis, also from the high school, vice principal. Did I miss anyone from the school district outside of Mr. Craig, Mr. Costa? Okay, good. All right, we're going to get going. I want to thank everyone for being here again. I'm going to turn it over to our city manager, Mr. George, who will go over an overview of the day, and I think you'll probably turn it over to Mr. Gass as well, right? Thank you.
Exactly, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. And likewise, I'd like to thank members of my staff who participated in getting to this point today. We've got John Jones, Community Services Director. Actually, thank you, extra special, John, to Parks and Rec people who I know interacted a lot with the staff in coming up with the strategies for today. We've got Elias, Public Works Director, Chief Bermudez in the back. Thank you. Rebecca, our HR Director. And then Michael, our Development Services Director. And then a special thanks to Portland Bates, who's in the city manager's office, who really took the lead on getting everything together today. Well, just briefly, this mock city council meeting, hopefully today, getting to this point, you'll understand and realize how significant and important city council meetings are to every city. All of the key decisions are made during council meetings. The interaction between the city manager and the department heads and staff with the mayor and the fellow council members is really significant in moving the city forward on a number of issues. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you have today in this mock city council meeting. So with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Gass, who will walk through the process and the procedures that we will be undertaking today.
I don't know which way to face. I'll speak to all of you. Thank you, Mr. George. The way it's going to work today is we have 4 different classes who are competing for the best rec park redesign. They've looked at the city's assessment. They've looked at your polls. They also conducted 2 of their own polls, each class, to find out how the community felt about different things. They each put together with different committees parts of the project, so they broke the park up, and each committee worked on different parts of it. And then we put together a cumulative video that's roughly about 15 minutes long. So we're going to watch the 15-minute video and then have about 10 minutes of Q&A afterwards, in which all of the voting members can ask questions. The committee chairs from the class will come up and stand after the video and defend their projects. At the end of all 4 videos, we'll have about a 10-minute debate with all of you and then have a final vote on which project you thought was the best and well thought out. If there is a deadlock, which there was last time it took about 40 minutes to break a deadlock and finally get somebody to switch their vote. We're not going to do that this time. If more than 10 or 15 minutes with a deadlock and we can't get anybody to switch, then the city council will become the tiebreaker. Okay, since that's an odd number, it'll break the tie. Okay, those are the rules. Any questions?
Are our city council members here parts of those classrooms, and are they in a situation where they may conflict out?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, all three of them belong to one of the periods. They ran the class and organized the project. So these are the leaders of the class for each period. But they are voting members. That's their reward for being that. The winning class does get an automatic A on the project and extra food from me next week. I'm already buying them lunch, so they get an extra meal from me, whoever wins. So, any other questions? Rules good? All right, if I could have the mock city council members stand. We're going to do a mock oath right now. Actual city council members don't need to. If you guys could raise your right hand. And I, in your name, promise to vote for the best project, not necessarily my own project. So help me, me. All right.
While we're queuing that up, Dr. Moore, thank you for being here, Superintendent of the School District. Yeah.
Rec Park is the centerpiece of the El Segundo community, but significant updates are necessary to make the park fit for the 21st century. As years progress and the target audience in El Segundo shifts, existing maintenance costs continue to grow worse. The addition of new buildings and programs are necessary to convert Rec Park into a next-generation facility fit to serve the current and future needs of El Segundo and its residents. This plan is an exciting proposal for the future of our park, and I am enthusiastically supportive of it. The first part of the Rec Park redesign that we will look at is the new 3-story building in placement of the Clubhouse that combines the Jocelyn Center and the checkout building.
First viewed the clubhouse, we knew many changes would need to be made, seeing as it's outdated and there's a lack of knowledge and use of the facilities inside the clubhouse. Our plan for the clubhouse is to completely demolish it and expand it out towards where the smaller park sits right now, and to combine the facilities with other current buildings in the park, such as the Jocelyn Center and checkout building, the second floor with the multi-purpose rooms, and the third floor containing clubhouse activities. Upon entrance to the first floor, you will notice in the floor plan shown, the first floor consists of activities and amenities that used to be in the Jocelyn Center, as well as the checkout building. You will find a reception desk in the center of the floor surrounded by 2-person chess tables as seating. The rooms include a game room with pool tables and table shuffleboard, an event room, and a room for lounging. In addition to these rooms, there is additional seating, accessible bathrooms, water bottle filling stations. In the southeast corner of the new building is where you will find the checkout with all the equipment and amenities needed. As for traveling to the second and third level of the building, you will find a staircase hugging the exterior of the building as well as an elevator inside.
The multi-purpose room can be used by anyone. There will be a total of 5 rooms on this floor. As soon as you walk out of the elevator, there will be a reception desk to your right, and there will be a library that is filled with books transferred from the original library in the Jocelyn Center and any donated books. To the left of the elevator is a little convenience store that is open to anyone that will have snacks and drinks. In the back left corner, there will be a cycling room which you can only be used if you sign up for classes. On the right side, there will be a workout room that anyone will be able to use freely, and you can also rent them out. Many people on our polls said that if these rooms were open at 6 a.m., people would actually utilize them. Then it would, in the very top right corner, there will be an employee break room and a storage room. This will be a nice, relaxing place for employees to lounge in.
When the doors open to the third floor, you will lay your eyes on the clubhouse floor. This floor will be mainly advertised towards young children and early teenagers, and will incorporate some of the programs found in the current clubhouse building. You will find a kitchen which can be used for classes or for caterers for any events located in this event room, which you can also see in the layout. There will also be an arts and craft room as well as a sewing room to allow people to express their creativity in different forms. Also on this floor, there will be office and storage space, bathrooms, a water bottle filling station, as well as access to the outdoor stairs and the elevator, all surrounding the reception desk shown in the center of the floor. When trying to figure out where to relocate the community garden, we came up with the idea to put it on the rooftop of the new building. And when we asked the residents of El Segundo in our poll, 62.1% agreed with this idea. So, the rooftop will have the community garden as well as some telescopes for our new astronomy class that you can sign up for. There will be outdoor seating that will be available to rent out or just to hang out. According to the park assessment, the total for demolishing the clubhouse and building the multi-generational building would be around $10,743,899, and we are around adding $1.5 million to fund and build programs and amenities. So the total estimate would be around $12.3 million.
Next, we will look at the baseball and softball fields along with the Jocelyn Center, lawn bowling area, and horseshoe.
A big part of the section of our park is the baseball and softball fields as well as their facilities. A large demand for our project is to lower the water use, so we want to replace the grass in the fields with synthetic grass. The scoreboard on both of these fields are small and very old. We want to replace them with bigger and better colored scoreboards. From our polls, we concluded that we should make the snack stand more welcoming by expanding the food options inside and allowing a QR code, which can be put around the bleachers and on the buildings. The snack stand is a fairly good size, but it's not big enough to include more bathrooms. We want to take out each wall by a couple inches to expand the building to allow more room for these renovations. For all of the changes listed above, the total should be around $2,004,000. In our poll, we have evidence that 52% of people believe that we should leave the elevators as is, just clean it up and replace some things such as the roof, support beams, and light fixtures. This will make the elevator more welcoming and less creepy.
Since we are demolishing the Jocelyn Center and moving it into one big building in a different area, we have a lot of room where the old space was. We decided to put the big kid playground in this space. Where the horseshoe area is will be the little kid playground, so it will be easy for families to watch both if they need to. While designing the playgrounds, we used the community's ideas that we gathered from the poll. For the most part, the objects in the two playgrounds will be the same, just changed slightly to fit the age difference.
Here's a list of playground additions that the community mentioned that they wanted. More swings and more things to climb on, such as this structure. They also mentioned a circle swing like the one at Hilltop, a zip line, and built-in games such as tic-tac-toe. Softer ground and wheelchair accessibility is also highly recommended, as well as a seesaw and sensory equipment that will help enhance fine and gross motor skills.
Another big part that needs to be added are shade structures, benches, and picnic tables. There are so many different things that can be added to these playgrounds which allow for plenty of creative freedom. We think that for the layout, the playground should be around here with some benches around it that are closer to the hillside. On the other side of the playground will be more tables, some of which will be covered by the memorial tree. To the side of that will be the splash pad. This will draw a lot of attention to our park, and there are also other parks nearby that already have a splash pad. They are very popular and super fun. The total cost for both playgrounds will be around $1.8 million.
This committee was designated the area of the sports courts, teen center, and checkout building.
That is the area above that is outlined in red. To begin our plans on what to do with this area, our committee set out to ask the public what they wanted to see at Rec Park and if they liked our ideas. We asked them questions related to the amount of tennis courts, maintenance of the courts, whether there should be a dog park, and the removal of buildings in the area. We then applied these results to our plans, which the public very much supported in our second poll seen above, with questions that confirmed the public's opinion on what we wanted to do. To begin our plans, we decided it was best to remove the checkout building and move it to the new multi-story building that will be built in the location of the clubhouse.
Also demolished the 3 northernmost tennis courts and the westernmost tennis court. In place of the checkout building and the northernmost tennis courts, our committee plans to create 2 concrete tennis courts that are conjoined together, separated by stadium-style seating in the middle. Additionally, the middle seating will be for 100 people, 50 on each side, and these tennis courts can be used by the school for their teams, for tournaments, or for family fun. The tennis courts will be surrounded by new steel fences that will provide a sportful ambience.
In place of where a part of the checkout building was in the westernmost tennis court, our committee plans to place the dog park. To do so, the lawn bowling area will be removed by demolition, flattened out, and grass will be placed all over the area. The area will be landscaped with beautiful dirt paths in which visitors can place their dogs and enjoy the scenery. The area will have plenty of beautiful trees and plants that visitors and their dogs can look at about as they relax in the park. Our committee plans to add trash cans with complimentary poop bags to promote a clean environment for our visitors.
Our committee also plans to place water fountains that allow for visitors to stay hydrated and fill their water bottles. These water fountains, represented by the orange dots above, will be found all around the park near prominent locations such as the fields, sports courts, and new buildings.
The racquetball building and the handball courts will both be demolished. The space that holds the racquetball building will be added to the tennis court that already exists next to it. Meanwhile, the handball courts will be converted into additional basketball court, as the poll says. The basketball court will be made out of concrete, as the other one is. Both basketball courts will be freshly paved and have unique El Segundo logos in the center. Each court will also have modern, new baskets with single rims and heavy-duty plastic backboards. The 3 tennis courts that were not demolished will be repaved and repurposed into multi-purpose courts, available for either tennis or pickleball use, and we plan to buy new nets for each court. To preserve the courts and maintain the pavement, each court will have an awning to provide shade and allow for increased comfort when playing.
Our committee also plans to build a new restroom and locker room area to the east of the new tennis courts. The restroom building will be completely new with new toilets, sinks, paper towel dispensers, etc., and each bathroom having 4 stalls with 2 full showers. Each bathroom will also have a set of lockers for visitors to use when visiting the sports courts or the park in general.
Lastly, our committee was in charge of the teen center. We plan to change the orientation of the basketball court so that the hoops are north to south rather than the previous west to east. This allows for more space to be given to the skate park, which is what the teen center is most well known for. We also plan to change up the previous design of the skate park to this new concept presented. The new skate park will have more attractions for visitors, such as a skate bowl and better railings. For the exterior of the teen center, our committee suggests completely repainting the exterior white. For the interior, we plan on a complete renovation. The interior will be painted black and other dark colors, and then outfitted with neon lighting. The teen center will be outfitted with new tables, foosball tables, arcade games, new TVs, and couches. The whole facility will have Wi-Fi, and each TV will be connected to both cable and streaming services. The food and drink bar will be renovated into an actual snack area where teens can buy food and drinks while visiting. The bathrooms will also be renovated with new toilets, sinks, paper towel dispensers, etc.
This concludes the plans for the renovations of the teen center, the sports courts, and the checkout building for a total estimated cost of $3.3 million.
The area we are in charge of renovating in Rec Park is the George Brett Field and the area surrounding it. To start, the northeast parking lot is in pretty good shape. We would like to see some landscaping on the area that is currently dirt. Dry landscaping or plants would brighten up the area and make it look nicer. Next, the field is in pretty good shape. We would like to replace the fencing because it currently looks outdated and old. For the fence that is behind the bleachers, we would like to replace it with a brick wall that could be painted on. A mural would bring the community together. ESUSD students would be able to collaborate, design, and paint a mural on this wall. For the gazebo and picnic tables, we would like to leave the gazebo as is. However, updating the lighting would make the area more comfortable in the evening so that everything is more visible. The tables do not need to be replaced, however, fixing up the cracks and damage on them would give them a newer, refurbished look. The announcer's booth should not be demolished, but should be remodeled. Replacing the roof, door, and water fountain would be great upgrades. Updating the speakers for the announcers is a much-needed upgrade since they're not very good currently.
One area in particular that stood out to us that needed help was the restrooms. Everyone has agreed that the restrooms are a big part of the project that need to be renovated. The bathroom's exterior has old doors, an old water fountain, the roof is outdated, and also we need a new ADE, a more accessible one. The interior part of the restrooms, we wanted to go with a water conserving / saving design. So waterless urinals, water conserving handles, and modern sinks with water conserving faucets. We need baby changing tables, all handicap requirements, sharps containers, Dyson hand dryers, Ecolab soap dispensers, and of course we need to have safety regulations such as ADA compliances. We also need new stalls, mirrors, and toilet paper holders. We would like to renovate only the inside part of the bathroom, so knock down the walls, the inside part, to open up more room for the bathroom.
The overall cost for all renovations in the bathroom is $71,560.
Another part of the area that we thought needed some renovations was the surrounding part of the baseball field. Since the bleachers have years of wear on it, it looks like now would be a good time to replace them. In replacement of those long, ugly metal-looking benches, we had the thought of putting in stadium-style seating. The estimated cost for this improvement would be around $31,000.
During our vice president's meeting with the city officials, the city manager is strongly in favor of synthetic grass, specifically synthetic grass which can be played on year-round as opposed to only 9 months. We decided on using synthetic grass as opposed to keeping or improving the regular grass due to cost, as with regular grass, the city has to replace the piping under the fields every few years, which costs money, as opposed to if we only did it once with synthetic grass. One thing our vice president noted was that the city manager preferred synthetic grass without the rubber pellets, as they can become a liability to the city for many reasons.
The overall cost for the synthetic turf on the George Brett Field will be $1,369,605. Finally, we will look at the picnic areas and the grills.
We ran a poll and people want the mural to be replaced or a new one be painted. A majority of people would prefer if the grills appeared more clean and use them more if they were cleaner. There are some safety concerns regarding the fire pits and one of the sides raised.
The grills look dirty and some are rusted, so we took a poll and people said that they don't use them very often, but would if they looked nicer or cleaner. 8 new grills will cost between $7,600 and $10,500, but we can clean or refurbish some of the old ones instead of replacing them and add new grills to the newer picnic area. We believe that this, along with the increased maintenance and cleaning, the grills will dramatically increase usage.
In our poll, we asked the community if they wanted us to raise the barrier around the fire pit, and 50% said yes. So for the campfire, we would raise the barrier around the fire pit and also add sand around it for safety precautions. We'll add 2 benches near the fire pit, take out the logs, and add wood stumps. We are also going to add grass and the picnic area where the playground is after it gets moved.
Community members want an amphitheater to host many community events we learned were needed from information in our polls. We'll also be taking a part of the picnic area and we'll be adding an amphitheater. This will be open to the public so they can host events themselves. We will throw many events for the El Segundo public like plays, youth programs, and camps, instructed exercise classes, live music, live events, movies, and more.
While the price of amphitheaters vary greatly, we estimate ours to cost roughly $900,000.
The stage will be about 4 feet high and 8 by 24 feet in length. There will be an awning over the stage to protect it from sun damage and water damage. This will cost about $20,000.
From the construction of a 3-story community center to the overhaul of park restroom facilities and construction of an all-new amphitheater, this park redesign offers a way forward to engage the El Segundo community now and in the future.
Do you guys have any questions?
Could you just describe which part of the project that you were responsible for, please?
So I was responsible for the 2 baseball fields and the demolishing of the Jocelyn Center, which was adding the new playgrounds.
I was a part of the multi-purpose 3-story building.
I was in charge of the sports courts, the dog park, and all the sports courts.
My committee was responsible for the amphitheater and the fire pit area.
And we also have another committee leader who's not here, and he was doing the other baseball field as well as the snack stand.
Great, thank you. I think what we'll do is we'll turn it over to the council members up here. This will be the time and place for them to ask questions. Councilmember Giroux.
So we ask the questions, or
No, I mean the mock ones, sorry. The students, yeah. Well, I think the idea is here, we're gonna coach you all to ask the questions that we might have and that you will have yourselves, and then they'll answer the questions, and then we'll have some deliberation after that. Sound good? Okay. Let's take a couple minutes, we'll regroup, and then we'll open it up. Does that sound good? Yeah. Okay.
We're opening up for questions.
Councilmember Giroux.
Okay, Councilmember Giroux.
Yes, we have a few questions.
Okay.
So I was wondering if you could clarify on a rationale behind removing the pickleball courts, as I see them as one of the most utilized facilities in the rec park, and they've also been just recently redone.
So we're moving them for space, like we're moving them, and then we're gonna make the tennis courts that we already have into multi-purpose courts. So like if people want to use it for pickleball, they can just like move the net that like they get from the checkout building, or like the new 3-story building.
And then how will that newfound space of removing those be utilized later?
Dog park.
Dog park?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Go ahead. I have a question. So, how do you feel the pickleball community and the avid tennis community would feel interacting with each other and having to share a court when they already have a hard time finding reservations for their tennis courts?
Well, I mean, if they're gonna reserve the court, I don't think they're gonna have to interact, right? They're gonna go to like the new. You're part of my group, bro. But so they're gonna go to the new 3-story building. They're gonna reserve the court, so they're not gonna necessarily have to interact with each other. Just reserve it ahead of time. I think that's like the same like issue with everything.
Hi, I'm Councilmember Taya. That's cute. Regarding the water area for the children, how was the insurance or liability? Like, are we increasing it more? How, that wasn't discussed in the video. Any thoughts on that? For like safety precautions?
Isn't that you?
Yeah.
This would be a great one to call staff up for. You can just delegate to staff and say, you know, it's a great question for staff. I would just turn around and ask for Mr. Jones on this one.
That's a great question. Can we have Mr. Jones up here?
Mr. Jones for defense.
I think we can follow up on that later.
I see how this works. Thanks, Daryl. I now know how this plays. Thank you so much. John Jones, Interim Community Services Director. Regarding liability on splash pads, because of the design and the materials that are used, the liability is very minimal. They used a concrete surface that is actually have kind of an aggregate feeling, but not to the point where it hurts the feet. So there's no water, standing water, so the slip issue is not a problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question about the dog park that you're implementing. What are you taking into account when it comes to having the park in the middle? So that means each dog that has to come in has to walk past children and elderly, and they could be aggressive. So I'm wondering what safety precautions you're taking into account because of that.
Well, if dogs do go to dog parks, they can't necessarily, I feel like an owner wouldn't bring a dog to a dog park that's necessarily aggressive because they're going to be around other dogs and other owners. So they are going to be on a leash until they get to the dog park, and it's going to be enclosed with a gate. So I don't really think there's going to be necessarily that many problems if their dog is behaved well enough to be in a dog park.
And to add to that, if the dog was aggressive, it has the possibility of hurting another person, and that means their dog would have to be put down. So the owner's not going to put their dog at risk of putting it down.
Currently, the dog park is located in the center of the park, and while there is usually some sort of fences, I went to the park yesterday, and the past week I've been going there to get footage for a lot of the videos. There's been no gates on the dog park itself, so if someone did let their dog out, it could easily run out and go attack someone. There's currently no gates. They've been taken off for construction and been left off for a week. So this problem's likely not too big, as the park has deemed it fit to not have them at all.
It's not a dog park. It's a lawn bowling green right now, so it's not technically. Yeah, people use it that way, but that's not what it is.
A lot of people do bring their dogs, though, to Rec Park off leashes all the time. So I feel like it's kind of more, with it being fenced in, I feel like it's going to be a lot safer than what it is now, with just dogs off leashes around the park, around little kids.
But it's different if the city's saying it's a dog park. You know what I mean?
No, because people still use it as a dog park.
Well, to add on to that, I do have a dog myself, and I do take my dog to the dog park on Imperial a lot. And I want to say that majority of those dogs are really big, aggressive dogs. They could be rescues, right? And having those big dogs interact and have to pass by like small children could be a safety hazard. It could be dangerous. That's why the park is on Imperial, so it doesn't interact with any park goers. You know, you go to the park to be not to be near big dogs. You know.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be gated in. We're gonna have like 5-foot like fences right around it. That's one, and then two. As you like walk by like an aggressive dog, I mean, I'm pretty sure the owners, they know it's aggressive. They're gonna take precautions, and you just kind of like avoid it too. Right. Personally.
And you're kind of discriminating against small dogs because you're saying more big dogs are on Imperial. So what about the small dogs? And isn't your dog kind of small?
Question? Wait.
Okay, have you guys take order? Have you guys thought about what is going to happen to the existing dog park if you guys put in a new dog park? Like, are people supposed to utilize both dog parks?
That is not under our jurisdiction. The assignment for like this entire project was for Rec Park, not the actual dog park. You know, I'm just putting that out there.
We could talk about dogs for however long we want, but I feel like we should shift our conversation back towards the park.
I have another question as well. For your guys' amphitheater, did you guys do a poll about how the neighbors and residents of Rec Park are going to feel about the noise? Do you guys have any plans to limit the noise, especially late at night while families are trying to sleep?
As of this point in time, we have not taken any polls for precautions, but we have greatly taken into mind and talked to some other members of the city to get their thoughts on it. How we're going to design it is to where the amphitheater is facing a direction where the speakers face back towards them, and it. Sorry if it sounds a bit like science-y. There's something called the square inverse law, which basically is the more distance sound goes, the much quieter it gets. So further you are, less loud things are, basically.
Question.
The part that's actually useful, the part that actually is important, is the speakers will be facing into the park instead of away from the park. If it faced towards the city, it'd be like a couple hundred feet and then hits a house. It's super loud. But if it goes across the entire park, it should be almost mute. No one should hear anything at all, and if so, it's hitting a Starbucks. No one's going to care at Starbucks.
Okay, I have a question. So you might have gone over this in your video, and I might have just missed it. But with the amphitheater, with the return on that investment, are you having like other foundations paying to put on something there? Are you having like the customers, or like, people pay to watch something? Like, I just wanted to know how you're getting that return on it.
Okay, as we kind of stay in the video, we have programs at the Clubhouse. So we have a theater program, and that's going to be putting on at that amphitheater. So you're going to have to pay both for the amphitheater and for the program itself for the instructors. So that kind of how the money goes back as well. And also, as we stated, we're going to host community events where like people can pay to watch a movie because there's going to be food trucks and stuff like that. So it'll be everything like the community coming together.
So you guys mentioned food parks and updating the snack bar, but I'm assuming that you guys are planning to cater to more people, which you guys would need certain permits for that, which takes a long time. So how are you going to plan ahead for the renovation? It's probably going to take like 6 to 8 months to get permits to feed that many people. How are you going to take like time renovation wise, and who's going to maintain that? How much is it going to cost? Like you guys said that how much was the renovation of the snack bar? All right, well, it was some money. So it's going to cost more to pay the people who are working there to provide like inventory for them to and manage questions, all that kind of stuff about the snacks, about the people that are going to be there during the games and stuff. Were you guys planning to take that into budget? Is that in the budget already?
As for hiring more employees, because of COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs, so this gives an opportunity for people to make money, which takes homeless people off the streets as well, so they can have an opportunity to live a better life. So I feel like for like creating more job opportunities, it's better for.
Also, there's already people who run the snack stand, so I feel like during the process of demolishing and rebuilding, we have a while to get permits. We have a long period of time from where they're demolishing and building, so I feel like we'll have time to get permits, but right now there are already people working there, so I feel like that's not going to be too much.
Well, before you start demolition, you need the permits. So it will take, say, like 6 months to do demolition, but 6 to 8 months to get permits. So it's a year in total. So it's a year of just essentially sitting on nothing.
It's a 10-year project.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we have
I
time.
know.
We have time, right?
Yeah, Mr. Gass, how are we doing on time? We need to move on. Last question.
I have one last question, please.
All right, I have a question for you guys. When you guys did the cost of labor on this project, did you do it at market rate or at prevailing wage?
Can we ask the staff? Is there staff personnel that can answer that question? Yeah. Is it possible?
Regarding the amphitheater, it was.
Is Mr. Lilio here to answer the finance question on that?
I'm not sure regarding the rest of the project. I only know from my own committee. For the cost of the amphitheater, how it was decided is we took the cost of I believe it was 20 other amphitheaters. We found the average per square foot that it costs to build each of those, and then calculated that into our current one. Of course, for these other amphitheaters, that included the cost of labor, construction, technology, all that stuff. So it should calculate that into it. I'm not sure what sort of labor they used, but that should account for it.
All right, I have one last question. I promise, guys. Just about the multi-purpose building, you guys did say that the senior facility or the building dedicated for the seniors will be in that building, which is on the farther, I believe, south side, but parking is on the north side. Do we have any arrangement for more parking for the seniors specifically by any chance? And by the way, thank you so much for all your hard work and your time. I appreciate it. And you guys are doing a great job.
As for parking, there's parking above, and then right there by the baseball feeling, there is more parking there, and there is an entrance to get to the clubhouse through that way. So there's entrances on both sides where parking is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Gass, do you want to come back up and tell us, Craig, Mr. Gass, do you want to tell us what's next in terms of protocol? Hey, but before you do, I just want to say, I mentioned this to Craig. This is the amount of work that you all put into this, and the surveys and the ideas are incredible. And I absolutely mean it. I'm sure I speak for my colleagues as well. Incredible level of effort and attention to detail in these proposals. So thank you very much. Really sound stuff that I'm sure staff will take and consider and contemplate, and that ultimately will get to us on the dais with some of these ideas as we contemplate our future. So I just want to say that before we get started. Great job.
Yeah, really quick, fantastic ideas, and it's always tough being the first one in the pool, so you drew the short straw going first, and now the rest of you know what you're up against.
Their own leaders were really tough on them, actually.
Sorry.
The next video is from our third period, so we're going to do the same thing and have about 10 minutes of question and answer after this video.
Recreation Park has long provided a setting for leisure and activity for all ages of El Segundo community. The park is in urgent need of rehabilitation after serving thousands of people since 1958. We devised a proposal to restore the park to a safe and beautiful area so it may be used efficiently and last through the ever-changing future generations. Our thorough polling and research have aided us in finalizing our plans to meet the requirements of the El Segundo citizens and advancing our perspectives on the city. The renovation's boundless rewards are an outcome of student engagement and collaboration. Buckle up for an innovative and modern adaptation of our beloved rec park.
Many aspects of the teen center need to be remodeled. The outdoor seating and basketball court both need to be redone. The polls we sent out told us that many people agreed that the cracks on the basketball court pose as a safety hazard. In addition to repaving, we plan to turn the basketball court into a multi-purpose court to include volleyball, futsal, and pickleball. This way, more kids will be encouraged to use it. Another question we asked on the poll is how we could change the outside seating, and from the responses we found that most people want more comfortable benches and shaded areas. This increased comfort will also encourage teens to go watch the games taking place on the multi-purpose court.
To add to the ambiance outside, we'll add string lights to the outside seating area and colorful LEDs to the skate park.
The skate park itself will be revamped, and we will add a large bowl with a platform in the center, as well as rails, platforms, and stairs on the flat area above. This new design will be exciting for the skaters and provide new challenges. Currently, the seating inside the teen center is worn down, uncomfortable, and just sitting against the walls. We plan to replace it with new sofas and comfortable beanbag chairs, arranging them into clusters to promote community and conversation. We will repaint the walls, inside mural, and stage with vibrant colors to brighten up the room and give it a refreshed look. We will hide the existing wires hanging from the wall and add 2 new TVs. We will mount them on the walls across from some of the new seating clusters. As well as renovations, we also came up with some fun activities to utilize the space. For example, hosting weekly movie night and adding a karaoke machine to the stage. Additionally, the room that is currently being used for storage is mostly empty space and will be turned into a study room where tutoring sessions will be offered. More group activities will include clubs. Some popular suggestions from our poll were a baking club, art club, math club, and drama club, but the possibilities are endless. The existing bar counter will turn to an open snack bar for kids to grab food after school. The wall behind the counter will remain bright and cheerful, now with an interactive component. This will be the wishing wall, inspired by the one in Times Square, where people write down their personal goals, dreams, or wishes on post-its and stick them to the wall. The last of the inside activities are the games, which include a new foosball table and replacing the pool table with 2 ping pong tables. The last renovation we will be doing is repainting the outside of the teen center with the same logo using brighter colors, and replacing the old fencing around the skate park and basketball court. The budget for the teen center remodel is about $800,000. Our price summary estimates our total cost to be about $350,000. This means our total cost of remodeling is under budget. We expect these remodels to be cost-effective and create a welcoming environment, encouraging teens to spend more time at a center tailored specifically to their wants and needs.
Our group focused on the courts and games section of the park, including everything from the hockey rink to the horseshoe, shuffleboard, and beanbag toss area. One of the main changes we found important was changing the 3 games areas beside our current volleyball courts. Our polls, as well as personal experience, told us that almost no one uses these games, so we wanted to add something more desired. We eventually decided to move the volleyball court to where the current games area is, and then change the original volleyball courts to a new pickleball court, which is in high demand as many people use other courts to play pickleball. Another section of the park that needed some love was the hockey rink. Our polls indicated that respondents would appreciate more convenient seating. Most of the audience prefers standing on the far side of the rink rather than the awkwardly placed bleachers. By adding a set of bleachers to both sides of the dugout, the audience can sit and watch the players on their preferred half. Because the batting cages will be added to other parts of the baseball fields, the current batting cage beside the dugout will be scrapped and replaced with a flat, grassy area. Another change we're excited about adding is a canopy for 3 of the tennis courts parallel to the parking lot. The tennis courts are arguably one of the most used spaces in the park, and we found that it might be worth adding a canopy over for rainy days and for extremely hot days to avoid sunlight. We found a few examples in other tennis courts, and a canopy is a very simple solution to this problem. We would want to keep many of the courts open though, because many people enjoy the sunlight, and we received this information in our polls. Along with that, we would like to repave, repaint, and change the fencing on all of the courts. This will ensure long-lasting use of the park, with a fresh feel that will help carry it into the next generation. The last area we knew needed significant change was the bocce ball court, or lawn bowling. What we came up with was to knock down the fencing of the bocce ball court, expand the field to include it, and add a pathway with floral decorations. This would increase the greenery of the park, which is highly valued by the Rec Park poll, while providing an easier and more aesthetically pleasing path to the tennis courts. The overall price of the changes we plan to implement to our area is a little over $200,000 from general research. To account for any error, we would like $250,000 allocated to our group. Now we're on to the next section of the park.
Our group was in charge of remodeling the baseball fields. Let's touch base with the conditions of our baseball/softball field. We have some ideas to liven it up. Me and the team believe that the stadium seating should be updated. Take a close look at what it looks like at the moment. The seating is rusted with nothing to lay your back on. Here's how we should improve it and what it will look like. We think that the stadium chairs look more appealing and comfortable, and the audience would enjoy it more. I think with these renovations, it'll be such a hit. The state of California is in a major drought, and the amount of water we use every day, it'll be gone in no time. Our plan was to use turf or drought-resistant grass in the outfields of baseball fields and softball fields. After polling the community of El Segundo, we found that 49.1% would enjoy drought-resistant grass more than turf. Drought-resistant grass will help us save water while keeping our community happy with soft and fluffy grass. The dugouts shown here are worn out, rusty, and not appealing. Just imagine after stealing bases and working hard on the field, sitting in the hot sun doesn't sound so fun, huh? Well, we have a solution for this. In our poll, we asked the people of El Segundo if they would enjoy shaded dugouts. 82% of the respondents said they would enjoy it. This could also be for our new community leagues. Speaking of these activities, to increase the use of fields, we are implementing new programs to include everyone. Based on the results from our survey, we found that kickball leagues and community team tournaments were a big hit. Would you drink out of this water fountain? Didn't think so. How about now? We believe that El Segundo residents should have access to clean, filtered water fountains at any time at Rec Park. We believe it's so important for our athletes to stay hydrated. Scoreboards play a huge role in a game. We can all agree a baseball game can get very confusing if you don't know what's happening. That's why we are implementing brand new scoreboards for the Brett and Stevenson baseball fields. Their current ones are outdated and have missing pixels and numbers. 76.5% of the people want a new scoreboard. We plan on moving the Brett Field scoreboard closer and directly over the center field home run wall. We want to update the fencing around the baseball and softball fields to protect the players and spectators. These new black fencings are a grand slam, and I think the community will agree. I hope you enjoy our new renovated ideas for the baseball fields. Now it's time to play ball.
We were assigned to the skate circle and clubhouse building area of Recreation Park. We were instructed to redesign the concrete skate circle and the grass area that surrounds, and also design the top 2 floors of the 3-story community center. We believe that the concrete skate circle area is not used efficiently and should be used for exercising. According to our poll, more than 60% of people said they would use a calisthenics center within the skate circle area. There is already a skate park at the teen center, which is why another skateboarding area is not necessary. We found this piece of calisthenics equipment which offers amenities such as a pull-up bar and ropes. It requires little installation and costs $6,000. Another way we can save money and use space more efficiently is by installing artificial grass. Not only does artificial grass conserve water and save money, people prefer it over regular grass and concrete. According to our poll, more than 57% of people prefer artificial grass over concrete or regular grass. We found weatherproof artificial grass that looks good and is cost efficient. To fill the area where the grass currently is, it will cost around $40,000. The new 3-story multi-generational community center will be placed where the clubhouse building and playgrounds currently are. The playgrounds will be relocated to where the Jocelyn Center is now. The second floor of the community center will feature many multi-purpose rooms that pertain to a specific genre of activities, and it can be used by anybody. According to our poll, people were very interested in having rooms for art, robotics, yoga, and pottery, which is why we have included all of these amenities on the second floor. They were not very interested in having a theater, which is why we did not include one. Having all of these amenities will also provide the children at the daycare with activities. We have also considered activities such as cooking classes on the first floor taught by El Segundo chefs. We also have volunteers interested in teaching a robotics class for children. We have decided that the best use of the third floor is for storage, the offices, and the daycare center. We have implemented 5 offices as we feel that more staff will be required. There will need to be 2 attendants for the daycare at all times and people to manage activities and schedules, among other things. With the additions of the artificial grass and the calisthenics center along with the new building, the total cost should be around $11 million.
Our segment was the Jocelyn Center, more specifically the land allotment of the center that is going to be demolished and pushed off into the new 3-story building. So, given that, we decided that it makes the most sense to have a new and improved playground in the area where the Jocelyn Center previously was. After conducting multiple surveys, we wanted to highlight some of the key points that we found from our crowdsourcing of our peers. Slides, monkey bars, and swings are all kind of staples in a park that everybody wants to see. Rock climbing walls can be entertained. Rubber and vinyl is a preferred material on slides and swings. Flooring leans towards rubber. and a rope-themed playground like Rocket Ship Park or Playa Vista Park is preferred. Given the nature of the Jocelyn Center was focused towards the elderly as well as senior citizens of El Segundo, we thought it necessary that it to be on the first floor so that it's the most accessible as humanly possible for everybody, as well as adding a booth in kind of like an ice rink theme, just like we have it now as far as a checkout on the first floor for convenience of everybody, as well as having a fully functional social hall and game room so that there can be activities, classes, courses, just as there was in the Jocelyn Center prior, with the addition of a kitchen and restrooms on that floor as well. Lastly, for the playground and social hall, all inclusive, the overall cost is $63,500.
Our sections of the park cover the parking lots, bathrooms, and the garden.
These are vital areas that, with further care, could easily draw in an extremely expanded crowd.
In the parking lot, we decided to change the main layout to make it easier to park. We're going to change the parking space's orientation from diagonal to horizontal for ease of use. We also decided to repave the whole parking lot to make it safer for children riding bikes and scooters.
For the restrooms, we decided to completely renovate it to make it a much more pleasant experience than it is right now. The restrooms in Rec Park are extremely filthy and have little to no maintenance. We want to completely change this by making everything a touchless experience. We would like to make all the toilet handles, sinks, soap dispensers, and paper towel dispensers touchless. When we presented this idea to a total of 80 people, 92.5% of people loved it. We would also like to repaint the restrooms and give it a whole new design to have a more inviting feel. To do this, we want to paint the walls blue, add blue tiles, and have the roof painted a nice eggshell white color. A total of 72.5% of 80 people liked the new design for the women's restroom, and a total of 80% liked the design for the men's restroom. For the garden, we've had a large portion of the poll responses ask for it to have an overall increased size. It would make sense as its size is actually smaller than the infield of the baseball field. Normally, there'd be problems with expanding the size as there are other buildings nearby. However, the Jocelyn Center is planned to be destroyed, so we could use this to our advantage by expanding the garden in its place, doubling its size. We would use this newfound space to add more plant varieties to the garden and add benches and decor. We also want to fill the entirety of the park with bright and energy-efficient LED lights, replacing the old lights in the last lampposts. This would make the park safer as visibility of the surrounding area will be enhanced and be more event-friendly. We've put our costs in a pie graph to explain what we're trying to add and change in the park. All these costs have been collected from a survey done by the city. The total of the work done will be roughly $1,028,000. Lastly but not least, our group focused on a better layout and design for the park's walkways, fire pits, and trash cans. The repavement of the walkways and renovation of the trash cans is long overdue. As you can see, they are in very poor condition and are long past their prime. According to the local community, 92% agree that the jagged and curved walkways should be smoothened out. This will allow strollers, wheelchairs, bicycles, and other small modes of transportation to be usable throughout the 17-acre park. This includes, but not limited to, adding grass and repainting several murals scattered around Rec Park, and adding more flowers and plants to the surrounding areas. A jaw-dropping 97% of El Segundo residents agree that replacing the trash cans with modern ones will improve the cleanliness of the park. We also want to replace these rusty bins with a new metallic finish, allowing for durability and style. Now it's time to introduce our wow factor. With a 96% approval from El Segundo residents, we plan to add an amphitheater to Rec Park. We believe that such a project would provide various opportunities to El Segundo communities and businesses. Our amphitheater's design takes inspiration from UC San Diego's outdoor amphitheater. We wanted a look that felt futuristic yet respectable to the form of art that would be created in that space. The fire pit and picnic table area is the most suitable spot for this design because the natural wall formed by the park's natural terrain permits so. We also think the spot would result in the least amount of noise complaints from nearby residents. From our poll, we were made aware of the various activities we should offer at the amphitheater. These activities include plays, concerts, movie nights, talent shows, and open mic nights. We also would like to offer dance, drama, and music classes for all age groups to enjoy, from El Segundo High School students. This is an updated map of Rec Park. The campfire pit and picnic area will be shifted over to the grassy field on the left, where there's plenty of space for large gatherings to be held. The lawn bowling area will be converted into a normal grassy space, evening out the land and making up for the loss of grass from above. And on the bottom right of the park, you will notice that a new dog park will be added, and that will be a designated spot for people to bring their dogs to Rec Park. The cost of making these changes are roughly $105,564.
Introducing new events, spaces, and activities is an effective and necessary approach to enhance the community while inspiring young minds, recruiting businesses, creating employment, and boosting mental health of town residents. These are core priorities and principles that El Segundo strives to achieve. Prove how influential your voice is among this tight-knit community by voting for our recreational park renovation project. Thank you.
We're going to hear from the committees, and then I'm going to call on each council member.
2 minutes to deliberate. You guys deliberated. Oh, they did?
We're going to get started on questioning. So
Who would like to go first? Trevor. And if you guys want to talk about what section each of you had and your names.
I'm Kylie Morales, and I had the teen center.
I'm Tommy Tishy, and I had the baseball fields.
I'm Jacob Enenstein, and I had the top 2 floors of the community center and the skate circle area.
I'm Paxton Fastman, and I had the Jocelyn Center.
I'm Evan. I had the bathrooms, the parking lots, the lighting, and the garden.
I'm Kai Vasquez. I got the courts.
All right. Awesome. First off, congratulations on your video. Great work. Alrighty. And then, so in the video, the current location of the Jocelyn Center is neighboring the softball field, and you guys talked about putting a playground in right there. What would be the liability of a kid getting struck by a home run or a ball from there, and what precautionary measures would you take to prevent that?
You know, I'm sure there's somebody more qualified in this room that can tell you about the liability. But we could add in a net or something that could help.
It's unfortunate this group has asked me up. That's a great question. You typically would, the only way to protect the youth from home runs or long balls would be extending the fence to a higher level, and or you would have to close your playground during times of play, because if it's within a home run distance, balls will go out of the park and they could strike a young child, which would cause a liability exposure on the city. So I wouldn't necessarily determine that's a bad location. You just have to put it far enough away that it actually could be safe for the kids.
I feel like the most practical option there would just be to raise the fences rather than like close it off.
I had a question. Excuse me. I have a quick question about the amphitheater as well as the new multi-generational center. It was said in a polling that in the multi-generational center that dance and theater wasn't important and no one wanted it. So why are we implementing an amphitheater where dance and theater would occur?
Because people didn't use it in the past in the clubhouse building at all, because they just simply didn't know about it, and most people aren't going to be interested in signing up for a class. But the amphitheater, it seems to be more for performances than anything, and so I'm sure people would enjoy attending some of those.
I had a question. I had 2 questions. For the amphitheater, you guys talk about the price being around $105,000, but in the pictures there weren't any like sound systems, and I was wondering how you arrived at that price, because that does seem a little bit low.
Are they allowed to take the question?
Typically, we would ask the city manager for questions that we would have as council members. Same thing with the city clerk. Sorry, folks.
That was a question from the city manager. Actually, we were speaking about the amphitheater numbers that you did come up with, and it did seem, I mean, not knowing exactly what the cost is, but $100,000 for all that was showing up there, and you're right, there was no, the infrastructure for the amphitheater needed to be fleshed out a little bit more, but typically, if a council member is gonna ask that question, and, you know, we would be, we'd have our finance director here that could assist in or our public works director that can assist in identifying the actual more accurate cost.
I just thought it was a typo. I thought there were just 2 zeros missing off the end of the number. Call it 10 million, but I think this is about the ideas and the conception rather than the cost.
Yeah, that was a more estimate structure cost rather than like the technology, so that'll be later.
Okay, and then my other question was about the study rooms. I know in the project he talks about studying being one of the main like focuses, so I was wondering how you would implement that.
Sorry, I wouldn't say studying is one of the main focuses.
Or it's definitely one of the criteria.
It's in there for sure.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so for the teen center, we would have like tutor volunteers from like the schools that could teach the students like certain subjects or areas that they need help in. So yeah, we would use that back room in the teen center.
All right, I have a question.
Charlie, sorry, Emilio's next.
You guys discussed the demolition, not necessarily the demolition, but the removal of the checkout building. What would be your plans to implement those amenities somewhere else in the park?
We plan to have the checkout building relocated to the first floor of the community center, so that way it's already near everything, and it'll just require one person and a window, so.
It's kind of the same thing as like it already is. It's just, thanks, Betty. It's just moving it like back to a different building, but there's not a lot that really needs to be done because it's a really low maintenance setup in general.
And the bathrooms are still going to be there.
Charlie, go ahead.
All right, I have a question about that picnic area that you guys are replacing with the amphitheater. I'll say that when I go over there, people are regularly using that area. It's not just the fire pit that you guys are talking about completely getting rid of. I'll say I've been to numerous events for all kinds of different groups and things, from the Scouts, the cross-country team, other things related to the school. People use that area, and people like use it for their birthday parties and things too. So what are you guys planning to do to have the park still be amenable to these kinds of activities?
Along with the fire pits, there also will become the benches and all the other benches and seating that you were talking about. So it'll still be moved to the side like it was in the video. It's just there might be more minimal to make room for the amphitheater.
Yeah, and there's going to be, the seating that's going to be taken out is going to be replaced by amphitheater seating anyways, so that also adds to it, because people can't really use the seating that's around the fire pit now, because you'll get a splinter if you sit down on it, so.
To add on to concern of location, you guys talked about moving the picnic area above the fire pit west, I believe, into the park. That space is utilized nearly weekly for bounce houses, for kids' birthdays. How will you go about addressing that problem of possibly taking away that space and availability?
That's why we expanded the field to where the bocce ball court is, so that will come through, and there's going to be tons of more like open space for that kind of stuff.
Will it fit a bouncy house?
Yes, it will fit. It will fit your bouncy house, Trevor.
We could fit as many bouncy houses as we need.
I also.
Sorry, Charlie. Councilmember Kai Johnson is next.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Sorry, then it's Councilmember Amelia Troyer.
So what would your opinion be if some people were to say that the checkout building was too far away from like the other amenities on the other side of the park? Because the checkout building was right in the middle of the park, so people could go from anywhere to the middle. But what if people have to go from the opposite side all the way to the checkout building? Like, would you think it's too far?
I don't think it's too far. I think it's just a path road down from the tennis court, so.
It's half a mile, and if you think about it, it's kind of like a warm-up to go into whatever you're doing regardless. Like,
Way less.
like, you know what I mean, dude? Like, it's not long, man.
Also, a lot of the people who are coming to like the bigger courts, like the tennis courts, bring their own equipment. Like that, we don't check those out. So that the bigger courts would be fine already, like by themselves.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's used for people to get ping pong paddles, and there's going to be a lot of new ping pong tables and such in the community center, so that'll be fine.
We'll hear from Councilmember Joseph next.
All right, so y'all said you're gonna combine all like the courts and stuff on the tennis and the teen center, and you're gonna have like volleyball courts and pickleball courts. How are you gonna settle disputes with like different sports trying to use that same area at the same time? And also, you're gonna allow them to like have like, you know how volleyball nets have like the little poles? Are you gonna let the teens bring out the poles on their own and set that stuff up, or are you gonna have someone there to do all that stuff for them?
No matter what, there's going to be like staff there, like rec park staff. Also, for our court section, we have all the individual courts like separately. So the ones in the teen center will just be like kind of the extras. Like whoever didn't get courts in the main like park can go to that area, and they can play whatever sport they want.
We'll hear from Councilmember Olivia next.
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that I really liked your guys' attention to detail, from the water fountains to the trash cans and the bathrooms and all of that stuff, because although you have good wow factors and stuff, nobody is using those areas, and those are really, really needed. Like, nobody necessarily needs an amphitheater, but you need to be able to use the restroom. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll hear from Councilmember Layla.
Okay, so you guys are offering a lot of new classes in the teen center and the multi-purpose building. I was wondering which classes would overlap because obviously you can't have like a separate time period for each if you're doing separate staff and stuff. So I was wondering which classes you plan to overlap, like cooking at the same time and painting at the same time, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so like tutoring would be mostly at night, and for the classes that would overlap, like you said, probably like cooking and art at the same time, or like we still like a math class, so we could do math class at the same time as the tutoring.
Is the math class connected to the tutoring, or is it a separate thing?
It could be a separate thing, yeah.
Also, is there a reason that the tutoring is at night for like
Well, yeah,
scheduling?
because like after school, you know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And also we have several multi-purpose rooms so that even if something does overlap, it's not going to be an issue. It's just going to be a staffing thing instead of a space thing.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Up next, we'll hear from Councilmember Charlie.
All right, I have a question about the decision to switch the parking spaces to horizontal spaces rather than diagonal spaces. In my experience, that makes it harder to park. Did you guys like talk to anybody about that decision, or did you guys just like go ahead and do that?
Yeah, we actually didn't talk to anyone about that, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we didn't talk to anyone about that.
All right, and then I also wanted to ask about the price of the baseball field renovations. I did not see that in the video.
There was a poll pie chart at the end of the video. If you were watching it, it showed a quick estimate of total cost.
I didn't hear them say it.
And also with the parking spaces being horizontal, there's a bit more visibility if you're backing out, because I've noticed that when I'm backing out of a spot at Rec Park, it's hard to see the cars that are coming. So it'll make a small difference.
Up next is Councilmember Trevor.
I got two little things. So you guys talked about moving the scoreboard on the Little League field closer to the fence, which I agree on. However, that field is also utilized as a soccer and adult league softball thing where they take the fencing off the field and they utilize the entire grass area. How would you go about putting a permanent scoreboard closer in the middle of the field when you have to play softball and soccer?
So in the past season with COVID, we worked out the communal softball leagues were actually played at the Richmond field sometimes. And then for the soccer, a lot more utilizing with the campus field by fire department too.
And for the second thing, I may be recalling incorrectly, but on the third floor of your multi-generational center, you do have the office spaces for workers, correct? You also have a daycare located there. Do you think it will be difficult for city officials to get their work done with youth and young kids crying and screaming in the daycare on the same floor?
Well, the plan is to have lots of soundproofing and actually an entirely separate hallway. And the storage area should actually be in between those two so that there should be no noise that gets through to the offices from the daycare center.
It's a big building.
Yeah, all right. Our last question is going to go to Councilmember Amelia.
There was discussion about synthetic turf and drought-resistant grass. What would be your plan to make the park as a whole kind of aesthetically pleasing, so there's not discrepancy with like one patch of grass is darker than the other?
Well, we're going to make sure to use all of the same exact kind of grass that'll last 10 plus years and won't fade at all. And it'll be very cost effective over time. It'll save a lot of water and a lot of money, and we won't have anybody we won't need anybody to maintain it, so that'll also save money there too. And
I think the baseball fields are very different with that too, because I mean, it's all just in one field. It's an infield, outfield situation. Like he said, it'll definitely save a lot more on cost though.
But as far as the rest of the park, it'll be uniform.
All right, thank you guys so much for all your hard work. And then we're gonna move on to we're gonna be moving on to the next video. We were tasked with the renovation of the Gordon E. Clubhouse and its adjacent patio area near the children's playground. We recognized the back and sides of the building's red brick exterior were covered with debris and various splotches. The front of the building's exterior is in need of a new coat of paint as the current white coat is textured and dinged with dirt. We also noticed all of the building's pipes are exposed, which makes the overall clubhouse look outdated and bleak. Upon entering the inside, the lighting is dark and dim, and there is no natural lighting because of the lack of windows. The bathrooms were in dismal condition and were in desperate need of remodeling. Although the nursery was located right by the main entrance for easy access, we felt as though the nursery should have its own allocated floor. We noticed the floor plan wasn't open, but rather resembling a maze, which made the whole floor appear confined, even though the rooms themselves were pretty spacious. The furniture was mismatched and outdated, as well as the interior paint and bricks. Throughout all the rooms, we noticed there was a major lack of storage areas and the underlying problem of an improper use of space. Lastly, another crucial issue we noticed was the lack of central air conditioning.
Just outside of the front of the clubhouse is the children's playground, which we thought looked updated. To the right of the clubhouse, in front of Eucalyptus Drive, is the patio area. Despite the space being large, there were only rusty benches spaced too far apart. We knew the empty space was often used for skateboarding, but we thought it had potential to be a fireplace area with seating. In conclusion, our observations led us to the decision of completely tearing down the building and adding a third floor in its reconstruction.
We came to the conclusion that most El Segundo residents are unaware of the clubhouse and its amenities. According to our poll data, 80.5% of residents say that they don't use the clubhouse facilities. When asked how often do members of your household use the clubhouse, almost 75% of the residents said they or their relatives have never used the clubhouse. In addition, 61% of people have never taken any of the classes offered.
On the second floor of the clubhouse, we're going to implement a renovated daycare, arts and crafts room, and kitchen. Additionally, there will be a pottery room incorporated in the arts and crafts room with a kiln and other necessary materials so the clubhouse can host sculpting and ceramics classes as requested in the poll. The arts and crafts room is an essential addition to the nursery floor. This not only provides children with the opportunity to develop new creative abilities, but further work correspondingly with one another to improve social skills. As mentioned, this room will be located on the second floor bordering the kitchen and the general daycare area. Within the room, there will be tables, several rolling shelves, and various art supplies. In addition, pottery classes will be available for those wanting to benefit their traditional art skills.
The third floor will be a space designed primarily for high school students. There is a study computer area with 2 Mac computers and a printer open to anyone for use. Additionally, there will be 2 smaller study areas within the general one that can be used by anyone for a slightly more private study space. Also, the third floor has a conference room that can be booked by anyone that needs to have meetings or a larger group that wants a place to study.
On the patio, we will have a gas fire pit that has glass covering to stop kids from sticking their hands in the fire and has full seating around it. To use a fire pit, you need to reserve it from the checkout building.
Overall, the total renovation cost is approximately $9 million.
We will be redesigning the first floor of the clubhouse into a new Jocelyn Center and also extend the whole building to the west. This would allow us to create a more open building that can also include outdoor activities. After running a poll, we found that around 50% of people were in favor of changing the first floor of the clubhouse, and 40% were neutral to the change. So we are going through with the shift in public opinion in mind. For the new Jocelyn Center, we want to emphasize utility and atmosphere to maximize its effectiveness and appeal as a senior center. When visiting the old Jocelyn Center, there was this feeling of lethargy and dullness that was built into the design. Dark lights for tight rooms created a strange atmosphere that was somewhat unwelcoming. This is what we seek to change.
The new Jocelyn Center will have all of the amenities that the old one had to offer, such as a hall, a game room, and a kitchen. Within the center, there will also be several office rooms for employees working in the building. These offices can be used by caretakers as well. The new game room still has the pool tables from the old center and a shelf to store several board games from Monopoly to Clue. We have it all. We also brought back the media room, which has chairs and a TV to watch all the best programs, and plenty of books to read as well. The new hall room will hold bingo and movie nights, and can also be rented for events and hold a theater area for plays and such. An elevator will also be added for handicapped accessibility to each of the 3 floors. Bathrooms will be added to the first floor with a modern design and painted with a sleek blue and gray color scheme once they are installed. And lastly, there will be 2 storage rooms included, one for general equipment and one for theater props and such.
We will also like to elaborate the specifics of the theater. The theater will be well rigged with permanent lighting fixtures that will also be beneficial to the ballroom. The area allocated to the theater will have curtains that come out of the walls.
We are responsible for the area in purple, which is the tennis courts, checkout building, bathrooms, and ping pong area at the park.
To begin our renovations, we would replace the ping pong tables with a newer but similar model. For the floors of the ping pong area, the cement is chipped in a faded red color, and to replace them, we will put in a new gravel cement, which would make the area more colorful. Next, to replace the storage unit that is rusted, we will purchase a new metal shed that is more methodical and can withstand harsh weather conditions.
We also plan to add an outdoor park bench in this area, which will allow for seating in the area for people who are waiting their turn to play or just want to take a break from ping pong. Lastly, we will be replacing the fencing that surrounds the ping pong area because it has been there for years and it is rusted, which poses a safety hazard. We would paint it back and prevent it from future rust.
From our poll, we've learned that tennis courts are something that the community uses, but more for the purpose of playing pickleball. We are planning to turn tennis court 1 into a pickleball court. For other courts, we will fix the structural damage and cleaning. On court number 6, the bleacher area has paint damage from weather and the seats are pretty dirty.
For the tennis courts overall, we plan on fixing the cracks in the cement walls and pressure washing the dirty spots on each court. Based on the data from our poll, 33.1 of the 124 responses supported replacing the plants around the courts with drought-resistant plants, and 49.2% of them strongly supported it.
When we asked how the public would feel about painting the checkout building white, 52% of people either support or strongly support this idea, while 43.4% neither support or oppose it. Inside the checkout building, we are ripping out the oak carpet and installing white oak wood laminate floors. Staff said there was a lack of storage in the checkout building, so we will install new storage cabinets in the front office space. We are painting over the existing bright blue walls in the office space with a lighter blue, as well as in the conference room. Also in the conference room, storage would be added above and below the TV on the wall. We would also replace the wood conference table with a sleek black table. In the kitchen, we are replacing the existing cabinets with new ones, adding a new larger sink and installing more cabinets above the sink. We also plan on including the laminate flooring here as well. For the public restrooms connected to the checkout building, we plan on a complete remodel. We will replace the tiles on the floor with new gray tiles in both the men's and women's. We will replace the sinks and soap dispensers and add a mirror above each sink. The existing stalls in both bathrooms will be replaced with dark blue stalls and the walls will be painted a light gray. Next to the bathroom is a water fountain and bottle filler that we plan on replacing with a similar model. According to the poll, over 75% of the community agreed that it should be replaced.
Our area is the pink highlighted section, which includes the teen center, main grass area, picnic areas, and lawn bowling section. When we visited the teen center, we noticed how run down and isolated everything was, so our main concern was renovating the interior. We plan to do this by adding new furniture, repainting, and renovating the bathrooms. We want to have one chalkboard wall for decoration and the rest white so it's brighter. Seen in the picture, the room in the back is entirely unsanitary and doesn't have a purpose. We asked a question on our poll about adding a gym, and 74% of respondents stated that they would use and benefit from this addition. Another issue we noticed was the insufficiency of light, so we want to add more windows and replace the lighting with solar panels so it's better for the environment. Here is an overview of what we expect Teen Center to look like after our renovations and an in-depth picture of the bathrooms. After our poll, 86% of people said they are neutral or agree with the idea of extending the skate park and replacing the basketball court, considering the new addition of the indoor basketball gym. After our polls, we decided to leave these two grass areas alone to keep open space in the park. We would like to include opportunities to rent equipment like jump rope, cornhole, and yoga mats. We have access to a couple of mural opportunities such as the teen center and updating the mural below the picnic area. We want to host a contest amongst local artists where they can be paid to repaint the mural with their ideas as long as it includes the water tower, planes, or anything else like unknown. After reviewing our poll responses, we decided to add more individual fire pits in the picnic area by removing small sections of grass around each table and adding a smaller fire pit in a dirt or sand pit. Also, for an additional safety precaution, we will have signs around the pits warning them of the risk and state that firewood is the only thing to be burned in these pits. We also plan to replace the grills and add cleaning stations because if done, they would be used more frequently. We plan to create a dog park in the gated area where the lawn bowling is currently. We want to add benches, poop bags, a station to put their leashes, and possibly obstacles or decorations like this to attract more people. We would use this already gated area for bigger dogs and the smaller area for smaller dogs.
Our area is the Little League field, batting cages, basketball court, hockey rink, picnic area, bathroom/snack stand, walking path, and some open grass areas. A few problems we noticed were the rundown bathrooms, unused space, and old fencing on the Little League field, basketball court, and batting cages. Our first renovation is to raise the fence behind home plate from 18 feet to 24 feet to help prevent cars from being hit in the parking lot. 50.8% of poll respondents said they would feel safer with raised fencing. We will also replace the dugout benches, add fencing around the bullpen, and fix the backstop netting, foul line fencing, and outfield netting.
For the batting cages, we want to update the fencing, buy new pitching machines, add new turf, lined batting turf mats, and a batting tee. We also want to replace the nets in the cages and the net shield. The total for the baseball renovations will be about $126,000.
We are going to completely remodel the announcer's booth at George Brett Field in order to create more space inside and add newer furniture and technology, including new speakers. After constructing the new building, adding all new amenities, it will cost around $90,000.
For the bathroom and snack bar building, we plan to do a full remodel inside while keeping the same outside walls and overall layout. We will get the inside, take off all the old roofing, and add 2 feet in height to the structure. We will install all new bathroom equipment in both bathrooms, and the flooring of both will be lunar concrete. To the snack bar stand, we will add an updated popcorn machine and a soft serve ice cream machine. Inside the hallways connected to the bathroom and snack stand, there will be an electric water heater. And on the outside of the bathroom and snack stand, we will be adding an LKEX H2O bottle filling station. The total cost of these renovations will be about $30,000.
In our poll, we asked if people would benefit from calisthenics equipment, and 64.3% said they wanted them added. The flooring will be poured rubber, and the equipment is the Action Fit Endurance course. The total cost for the calisthenics would be $41,000. In regards to the basketball court, the foundation is in good condition, but the hoops and fencing are rusted. 57.7% of poll responders said they would like to see new hoops at the basketball court, so we will add 6 new hoops. We will also redo fencing and paint the El Segundo City logo on the center of the court. These renovations come out to $90,000.
The only adjustments necessary to the hockey rink and the picnic area are a deep clean with a power washer.
In the parking lot adjacent to the field, we will add a solar panel carport to generate electricity and add 6 electric vehicle chargers underneath. Our solar PV system is 100 kilowatts and 6,154 square feet. The cost of all parking renovations will be around $350,000.
Drought-resistant plants will be included along the path to beautify it, such as foxtail, agave, and many more. It will cost about $7,000 for 700 feet of plants.
The total cost of all park renovations come out to around $734,000.
Our team is Group 5 and we're in the light blue area. We're involved with the baseball and softball fields and the elevator.
For the elevator, we have remodeled and repaired the facility. We have also installed a refill station, parked lampposts, and benches on both ends. The poll suggested that 70.7% of people who knew about the elevator wanted to renovate it, and 0% of people disagree with the idea of the renovation itself. Still, the new look will make the elevator cleaner and make our park a better place with.
For the baseball field, we want to give it a more appealing look to maximize the use of the field. The results from our first poll informed us that 41% of people don't visit Stevenson Field, so we wanted to fix this issue. During our visit to the field, we saw that the field was in poor condition and looked very old. First off, we saw that the outfield fence was very rusted and worn down. According to our second poll, the results show that 55.7% of people wanted the fence to be fixed. Our solution to this problem is repainting the entire fence. By repainting the entire fence, it allows the fence to remain in good condition and give it a more appealing look. Next, we wanted to fix the batting cage next to the field. The batting cage currently has many issues that includes a rusted fence, uneven ground, many holes in the netting of the cage, and holes in the protective screen. To fix all of these issues, we want to completely deconstruct the cage and rebuild it with brand new materials. By building a new batting cage, it will increase the overall use of it, and it'll look better next to the field. We also want to install jumbotrons for both fields. Both of the jumbotrons will act as scoreboards and have many other purposes. Some of these purposes include player stats, player pictures, highlights, and advertising upcoming events. This will increase the use of the fields and give them a newer look.
For the softball field, we want to fix every flaw for the players and audience. We would install new field lights all around the field. We want to replace the grass with turf to save water and money over a long period of time. Doing this will also fill all the potholes in the middle of the field to prevent injuries. Getting new bleachers would be a good choice due to the fact that the current bleachers are old and starting to rust. For the new ones, we can make them more comfortable so people don't have to buy portable seat pads. The fence they have up is in good enough condition to keep, but we would definitely want to add paint to prevent rust and make it look more appealing to the players and audience. 51% of the poll agreed with it. For our wow factor, we will be installing a video display jumbotron scoreboard.
With all costs added of the elevator, first floor of the clubhouse, and softball and baseball field, our total is $2,278,490.77. Most of the costs are from the first floor, while the rest are all allocated to the other area.
Our area consists of the pickleball courts, miscellaneous games area, volleyball, handball, and racquetball.
First off, we have decided to leave the volleyball and pickleball courts the same. Both areas are new and have been maintained very well. The paint on the courts is fresh and the fences only have minimal tarnishing. Both are highly popular within the community, especially pickleball, and are constantly in use in a great area for people to participate in 2 games that they love.
A poll of the community showed 87.9% would use a picnic area with in-and-out style tables. We will tear out the horseshoe and cornhole areas as 68% of people say they never use them. We will leave the shuffleboard and make it multi-use. We considered putting in turf, but 60.8% of the people prefer real grass. We will have heavy concrete picnic tables and plastic umbrellas to withstand weather conditions. We would need about 10 umbrellas and 10 tables. This picnic area will be a great area for families to come in and relax in the shade. Next, we have decided to consolidate and remodel the racquetball and handball courts. From our poll, we found that 83.5% of people do not use the 2 racquetball courts because they are in bad condition. We decided to fix up one of the racquetball courts and change the other one into a handball court, since 84.6% have never used the handball court. Modifications for both courts include hiring a sanitary crew to deep clean it, repaint the walls and the ceiling, and update the floor. Additionally, for the racquetball courts, we will add in wood flooring and tear down one of the walls to make it a glass wall so that others can watch the game. Janitors will clean both rooms regularly. The current handball court will be demolished and transformed into a beautiful open garden with drought-resistant plants and benches for the public.
For the wow factor of our class, we are going to build a multifunctional indoor basketball court. From the poll, we learned that 58.5% of the poll takers love this idea. We will demolish the Jocelyn Center. The court will be approximately 6,300 square feet, including the court itself, with 5 rows of bleachers per each side. There will be men and women's bathrooms and an office for rec officials. We are basing the build off the El Segundo High School South Quad gym. The flooring will be standard basketball court flooring with 6 adjustable hoops around the perimeter. The building will be up to ADA and DSA safety standards with 6 exits for a capacity of 1,500 people, caged illuminated exit signs, and a sprinkler system. The court will pay for itself by hosting basketball and volleyball leagues, kids' basketball lessons, movie nights, and other events. Many people in the poll indicated that they will use it for various reasons. It will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
The indoor basketball court building will cost about $12 million to get high-quality materials and furnish the inside. Our racquetball and handball renovations, along with the picnic area and the cost for a janitor, will cost another $1 million, making the total $13 million.
For a reminder, these are our main changes. We are going to convert the clubhouse into a 3-story building that includes the Jocelyn, a multi-purpose area, as well as a nursery. We are also renovating almost all park facilities and including 2 state-of-the-art jumbotrons to both Stevenson and the softball field.
We also want an eco-friendly environment for our patrons as we are adding electric chargers and solar panels. For the teen center, we are expanding the skate park and extending the use to a brand new gym. Lastly, our main wow factor is an incredible indoor basketball court which also serves for multi-purpose use like dodgeball, volleyball, and the community events. This would come to a grand total of $28,545,000.
Sorry, I just wanted to do it. But I'm going to ask that everyone takes 2 minutes to talk about what kind of questions they want to say before we get started. Okay, for time's sake, I'm gonna ask that we start on Sam's side, and then everyone asks their questions. And if you don't have a question, you will be skipped. And if once we finish, then we'll come back to you if you have a question. Okay, so Sam, you can go first. Please state your names and your area that you did.
Hi, my name's. Is this on? Hi, my name's Michaela, and I did the Clubhouse.
My name's Jaden, and I did the Little League field and the solar panel parking lot.
I'm Katrina, and I did the basketball court, the volleyball, pickleball, racquetball, and handball.
I'm Kira, and I did the teen center, the grass area, and the picnic area.
I'm Katie. I did the tennis courts and the checkout building.
Hello, my name is Giovanni, and I did the Jocelyn Center, baseball, softball field, and the elevator.
Sam, you can start.
So my question is, how are you guys aiming to be eco-friendly and sustainable?
Well, the first way is we're powering the teen center with solar panels, and then Jaden, you want to say your part?
Okay, we decided to make the parking lots solar panels, and these solar panels are going to power most of the park. It's only able to power about half of it, but this will also save electricity, and we're also adding electric car chargers because more people are using electric cars, so this will also save money on gas, which is better for the environment, and we're also using drought-resistant plants, which will save money on water.
We also added turf on the softball field just so we can save on water for the grass.
Have you guys thought about how realistic a Jumbotron is and what is needed to record live and then play it on the screen? And have you guys devised a plan for how that all will work out?
So the actual size, that photo was not the actual size of it. Our size is, give me 1 second. 7 feet high and 12 feet wide. It just displays ads and such. The price may be a little expensive, but with ads and such, we can most likely down cost the price from it. We believe that we can have volunteers record things like people, like their score sheets and all that, just for while the game is playing.
Sorry for a quick follow-up. In that price, did you guys add in the infrastructure that's needed to record it and play things live, and how much all of that is going to cost? Did you add that into the price of the Jumbotron?
Yes, our total cost is added to there. If you want me to repeat it, I can. Yes.
So how do you guys justify spending $13 million on a big gymnasium when we already have one in town at the high school that people already use for leagues and such? So we don't really need a gymnasium to be added to the rec park. It's basically useless.
So the one basketball court there is currently at Rec Park is most of the time completely full, so we decided that we wanted to include more basketball courts, and we noticed the one that there was is only an outdoor court, and considering with some of the weather conditions, it's cold, windy, rainy, we wanted to have also an indoor court. And then once we kind of decided to an indoor court, we were like, okay, we can use this for other events. We can do movie nights, dodgeball, and leagues, and we can also have more. It's just a community space. It's going to be something that is more than just a basketball court. So, and it's going to be high quality materials, and that's why it costs approximately $12 million. The $13 million is with our other renovations added in.
So also, is it just going to be open all the time, or is it going to be open only during specified events?
Yeah, we said in our video it's going to be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday through Friday, and then 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, so it'll be open a little earlier on the weekend. Most of the time it'll be just open to the public. When we do include the leagues, they'll have reserved times, probably in the evenings, maybe 6 to 8 p.m. Reserved for that. And then when there is movie nights and such, those will be blocked out, so people won't be able to play at that time.
Taya, if you have a question, you can
hold on. We'd like to refer to Mr. Cass real quick.
This is one of those where they wanted to refer it to somebody with a little more experience. I was just asking how we phrased that earlier.
I think the answers have been great so far.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing I just want to say as a basketball coach from El Segundo High School. that those gyms are never available for everybody. It's very rarely that those gyms are open because the sports teams at the school have to fight for time to get in there.
All right. Just clarifying the playground area. Are you guys keeping it in the same location? And then also, is there a different layout? Because I didn't see that in the video, but maybe I missed it.
Yeah, when my group looked at the clubhouse area with the surrounding playground, it looked pretty updated and it looked in pretty good condition and it was pretty popular. So we decided to just leave it as it was, as we didn't want to allocate any more cost towards that area and we could use it towards other things.
All right. And then also, do you plan on adding, since you're keeping it, do you plan on adding possibly a section for children with disabilities or special needs by any chance, or no?
We didn't think about that, but I think that's a really good idea. So if the city did decide to go through with our plans, I think that that's something that they should definitely look at.
Thank you.
For your new building of the gym, are you going to allocate any more space? Because there's going to be more people and more, income and stuff. Are you planning to do anything with the parking? Are you going to accommodate for more people showing up and using that facility?
So far we've just kept the same amount of parking, so we would have to look at using more space for that, but no, we did not. Yeah, we would have to see maybe once it's built if it really does bring a lot more people, and then we would have to adjust the parking lots accordingly.
All right. In the rec park assessment, as well as many groups consider putting the checkout building in the large 3-story building. Why is your group choosing to put it in the middle of the park?
We decided that the checkout building location right now is at the most convenience for everyone, so you wouldn't have to walk all the way up the hill, which someone said earlier was half a mile, which I think is kind of far for a little walk if you're especially just getting ping pong paddles, which is right there. So we would want to keep it in the same area as all the courts.
Okay, I have a couple questions. The playground area that you guys said is by the clubhouse area, that area is going to get demolished to put the 3-story building there. So.
No.
Well, it's not a no thing. That's what they're planning to do.
No. Wait, is it?
They're planning to take that area, the clubhouse area, and turn it into a 3-story building.
I was thinking they were taking the physical building. Yeah. So no.
Okay.
Further questions?
For the solar panels, are you guys planning to use the solar panels on 2 different sides of Rec Park to power the whole park, or just half?
Well, as of right now, we only had it planned in that one parking lot that's right next to the Little League field.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so I had some questions about the electric vehicle chargers. Are you guys thinking potentially about licensing those out to companies that might want to put them up in exchange for just being able to advertise on them to potentially save costs, as well as on the Jumbotron? You may want to think about something like that. I take some issue with the characterization of the hockey rink as in need of nothing. One of the big issues with it is that the doors are currently upside down. The doors on the hockey rink are upside down. You can go over there and see. I also wanted to ask about the maintenance costs. Certainly in the meeting, when I met with the city, one of the big concerns with them was the cost of having a checkout building, the clubhouse and the Joslin Center. You guys are now talking about having both a basketball court and a 3-story building. What's your plan to reduce the maintenance costs on having multiple facilities?
I'm really sorry, but I don't exactly know what you're asking. I know, because you just put 3 questions into one, so could you just repeat?
Yeah. Okay, my main question is, how do you plan to reduce maintenance costs in light of the fact that you have 2 separate buildings?
So we plan to have janitors for all of our buildings, and we'll just have them go throughout the park, and they'll probably clean it more than once a week. We estimate about 2 to 3 times per week because we plan to have a lot of people use those buildings, so we'll need to keep it clean because we know that'll make it more appealing and have more people use it. So yeah, we will hire janitors to clean the buildings.
Also, with the renovation of the clubhouse and the new classes that are going to be offered, there will be more opportunities. So obviously more jobs are going to be required to fill those spaces, but there's also going to be new sources of income as well. So I think that while new jobs are going to come, so will the money as well.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask the city manager, are we able to contract those maintenance jobs out?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
I have a question about the basketball court. You said that janitors would be running it. Would that include how reservations are working and also with public spacing?
No, we'll have an office for rec officials there, and that will be a place. It'll be in the front of the building. There will be kind of a lobby area where also the bathrooms will be before you walk into the court itself. So you can talk to the rec officials to make reservations. You can also call them, and they'll have it all organized to make sure that there's nothing overlapping.
So it's like a front desk?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
So I feel like the solar panel is a great idea. I think that a lot of other communities should have touched on it as well. So that's actually like a really good positive for it. But my one concern would be, what are the chances of a ball being hit from the field and breaking a panel and kind of cutting out the power output to the park and also damaging a solar panel, making it be replaced?
Well, we actually are raising the fencing at the Little League field so that so that balls don't go over and hit the cars. And the solar panels are higher up, so I don't think like little kids would be able to hit that high.
But like grown adults too on like selfish softball, but yeah.
No, but okay, the solar panels are at the parking lot that's like directly behind the Little League field, so it's not like where the softball and baseball field are, where the older people are. So yeah.
I like the idea of having a basketball facility in your park. My main concern would be with open space in the park. You know, parks usually have a lot of open space. And so having 3 facilities in the park, what are your plans for having that open space still be available?
So we're planning on putting the basketball facility where the Jocelyn Center was, and we're also going to keep the community garden because there's enough space in that area for both of those things. So that will be one building, and the checkout building will remain the same. And we're going to keep the main open field in the middle of the park, so there's still going to be a lot of open space.
Could you further explain your wow factor and how it supports future generations as that criteria was important while completing this project? And I feel like a lot of groups did not touch on that.
Yeah, the basketball court is our wow factor. The main thing is we just wanted to do something that could bring the whole community together. We wanted something that was good for all age groups. So, you know, the basketball leagues, volleyball leagues, dodgeball games, that's for younger people. We can also host the leagues for, you know, middle or like young adults, and then also the movie nights, bingo nights, that can be for older people, and you know that can also be something that brings the older and younger people together. And in the future, I believe the park assessment said there's going to be a lot of like young adults that are going to be in the community in the next decades, so we're definitely going to maybe cater to having some adult leagues so that they can have fun in their free time. Yeah.
Okay, I had a follow-up question for the playground area. If you guys aren't planning to put the 3-story building where the clubhouse is, where are you planning to put it?
Wait, that is where I don't think they're tearing down the playground, just the building.
Yeah, the clubhouse building. That's what I'm asking. If you're planning to keep it, then where are you?
No, we're tearing down the building. Just the building, not the playground.
Oh, okay. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? Follow-up questions? Nothing? Joseph?
So what exactly are you going to put on the Jumbotron? Because they don't really keep track of like little kids' records and stuff. So like, and like stats and stuff, because you guys said in the video you're going to have stats up there. They don't really keep track of those. And there's not going to be like a camera. It's like unrealistic to have a camera there like just following around people because they don't really record those videos.
One thing is the Jumbotron's not going to be at the Little League field. It would be at Stevenson in the softball field. So I think they're more likely to keep track of their stats, like the high school like team stats. Like they're more likely to keep track of that. And also the community volunteers are likely to participate because they're really active in the community. So I think they would like contribute to like what goes on the Jumbotron.
Also, I think this question was already answered, but Sophia is going to be next. Last question.
One quick question. For the basketball, are you guys planning to use the current, like, you know how we do reservations for Rec Park? You guys are planning on using the current, like, program, right? That's it. Thank you.
Really fast. Did you guys touch on the teen center? Got you.
Yes.
Just we try to make sure.
Thank you, guys.
Is it one more group?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Good morning, City of El Segundo. We are Period 5, and we were tasked with renovating and innovating our beloved Rec Park. Now, as we go through our polls, plans, and budgets, I would like to take into account our emphasis in community engagement, as well as including a plethora of activities for anyone to enjoy.
Starting with the fields, garden, and clubhouse, we conducted a poll surveying 100 park goers on what their preferences would be for this section of the park. The poll responses consisted of a wide range of ages, with 54% of responders being age 35 or younger and 46% being older than 35. 70.3% of our respondents stated that they were current El Segundo residents. 20% said that they had difficulty accessing the current clubhouse because of the accessibility, which tells us that we need to make the clubhouse more accessible. And 67.6% of responders stated that they don't think the current elevator access at the park is adequate. To combat this issue, we decided to rebuild the clubhouse to become a brand new multi-generational center. The entry-level floor will feature a fully stocked first aid room that can be unlocked by a first aid certified staff member should it be needed. In regards to staff, the reception area will be on this floor so that staff are present and near the entrance to the building. The third floor of this building features separate rooms that can be used for different classes. Also on this floor, there will be a kitchen where cooking classes will be held. Finally, on this floor, there will be an office space for staff to complete any computer or online work that they would need. Down the path from the multi-generational center, there will also be a new garden space featuring drought-resistant and native Californian plants, an automatic watering system designed to conserve water, and educational plaques regarding the plants and the importance of water conservation. The garden will also feature statues and sculptures from local artists, which is a feature highly approved of by the people who took our poll. There will be a dedicated section for a community produce garden in which the produce can be grown and harvested under the care of the community. This produce will be dedicated for use in the community cooking classes, which will take place right down the spacious pathway in the brand new multi-generational center. We will also implement minor renovations to the baseball and softball fields, including upgraded scoreboards, renovated dugouts, and brand new bleacher seating on both fields. These changes, according to the results of a poll we conducted, are all desired by park goers. The multi-generational center costs $8,903,060. The garden costs $261,450. The softball and baseball fields combined are $794,560. And finally, the grand total for our section of Recreation Park is $10,032,758.
We conducted a poll on the Infant Care Center, which is located on the bottom floor of our multi-generational center, as well as the bowling alley and mini golf courses. Like many of the other polls taken for our park, 68.3% of the park goers live in El Segundo and 31.7% did not. We had lots of teen responses, with more than half being in the age ranges of 13 to 18. With the strive to improve and create a more lively environment at Rec Park while also appealing to every age group, we asked the community their thoughts on what activities would be appealing to them. Thus, in order to provide more attractive activities at the park, we conducted a poll to suggest 2 new areas. Based on the data we collected in our polls, we found that 61% of people thought that the idea of replacing the old green garden location with a mini golf course would be a good addition to the park. Optimizing the small square footage would be the major goal. In addition, we also needed a replacement for the area in which the Jocelyn Center had been.
with the plan being to remove and implement it into the new multi-generational center. A suggestion to add a bowling alley to the now vacant lot was brought up. After asking the El Segundo community, 73.1% of the pollers agreed on adding this new recreation to the park. While we were at this, we also wanted to implement some jobs and an area for food in the new bowling alley. Therefore, we asked the community, and 83% approved of this idea. From all this, we learned that most of the community would enjoy new areas in the park. Therefore, our final plan would be to demolish the Jocelyn Center and build a new bowling alley in the area it will leave. This new and exciting addition to the park will of course have food, a snack bar, and modern equipment for easy feasibility. The inside will also have nice decor and possibly custom designs on the walls by the community to make the inside look even more appealing and sleek. To make the bowling alley even more enjoyable, we will have regular lighting in the morning to afternoon and a more neon or dark ambiance later in the day. It would especially appeal to teens at this time. Coincidentally, due to a vacancy of bowling alleys in El Segundo, by adding one at Rec Park, the amount of profit that it will yield will eventually make up the cost of renovating the Jocelyn Center into a bowling alley. With a minimum of 7,500 square feet, there will only be 6 lanes for a total of 6,000 square feet, and the rest of the square footage will pertain to the lounge/kitchen area. Also didn't forget to renovate or keep a room in the new multi-generational center for the infant care. Since the new building is intended for uses of all ages, keeping the infant care center is very crucial, and we plan to make it more lively and accessible as compared to the current daycare and the Gordon E. Clubhouse. We plan to add changing tables and several different tools that moms and staff could help to care for the babies safely, such as cribs, toys, and many other necessities needed. With all these new changes to the park, our total estimated cost for replacing, rebuilding, and overall renovating these areas of the park will come out to be $1,930,900.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My team and I are focusing on these certain aspects of Rec Park's remodeling and renovating.
We decided to remodel the basketball courts entirely to imply concrete flooring, full-sized high school basketball court, which is roughly 87% the size of an NBA court, to put that into perspective.
Rims will be made single rim in addition to a new hoop netting. The surrounding walls will be patched up and remodeled to a newer, more modern aesthetic.
James and I oversaw the tennis courts, which we have decided to remodel.
As there are in total 6 tennis courts at Rec Park currently, we have decided to remodel all 6 of them into brand new modern tennis courts.
As suggested by our polling data, half of the courts, being 3 of them, will be given new mesh awnings. As well, will be given new fencing, new nets, new flooring, new paint, and much more.
I was assigned with the lawn bowling field. We decided to move the children's playground to this area. The new children's playground will have modern and upgraded features, along with the brand new equipment and structures. New features include monkey bars, slides, and swing sets.
Because of how much space the multi-generational building takes up, we are moving the big park that is next to the multi-generational building to replace the lawn bowling field with no changes to the park itself. The small park, however, we feel is old and needs remodeling, as mentioned by my teammate. We are tearing down the small park and moving it to the grass next to the checkout building. The small park will have all the new features that Tim has just mentioned. Now that we have gone over all of the remodeling and renovations suggested by our team, I wanted to quickly go over the public's opinion on our changes. Over 75% of our respondents to our polls were El Segundo residents. In one of our questions we asked, it has been suggested to change the basketball court flooring. Out of these options, which one would you most like to see? A majority of 28% was concrete, followed by wood, which was 25%. So we are confident that the public will be supportive in our move to make the new basketball court flooring concrete. Our second and final poll question we will be sharing with you today out of our assortment is the suggesting courts being converted into indoor areas, which out of the ones that you didn't pick, if any at all, should get new mesh awnings instead. A 25% majority responded with yes to all. In this response, we are fully confident that the new mesh awnings added at Rec Park will go over wonderfully.
With all the expenses from the basketball courts, tennis courts, and park construction, our total budget will be $2,174,700.
Checkout building and amphitheater. After our initial poll surveying the community, we found that it was best to redo the checkout building and bathrooms and move the picnic tables to another area of the park in order to add an amphitheater.
Our ideas for the renovation for the checkout buildings were we were going to add pool tables, we were also going to add a pop-up shop, and then we were also going to add a snack stand.
This is an example of what we want the checkout building to look like once it is renovated and all the offices are taken away.
Our data shows that 91.5% of the people prefer healthy and unhealthy snacks at the snack stand.
According to our poll, we have concluded that the community also wants soda, coffee, water, and energy drinks all in the snack shack.
According to our results, an overwhelming amount of people prefer the pool tables moved inside of the checkout building.
We decided that it was best to add gender-neutral bathrooms because it was more inclusive for the community.
According to our poll, we concluded that an overwhelmingly amount of the community believes that there should be gender-neutral bathrooms at the park. After talking to a fellow committee, we decided that it was best to move the picnic tables. We decided to use the old place for the picnic tables and build an amphitheater in its place. We want to build an awning, as shown, to add cover for the actors and provide concrete seating for the spectators.
The majority of people in the community recorded that they would like to go visit a show at the amphitheater, with most people responding 3s, 4s, and 5s.
One problem our group concluded prior to polling was the noise level inside the amphitheater and how it might affect the neighbors of the park. However, after polling, we concluded that it would be no issue at all.
Our total budget for redoing the checkout building and adding in the amphitheater will cost us $1,707,393.80.
Renovations of George Brett Field and the hockey rink area. Are you bored of the current state of the baseball field? Well, if you are, you're not alone. About 52% of respondents have stated that they have never utilized George Brett Field. In order to make the baseball field a little bit more eye-pleasing, we wanted to add more color, especially blue. We'd also like to replace the natural grass in the field with turf. We thought the fence behind the bleachers was a bit boring, so we thought that it would be a good idea if we added a blue wall behind the bleachers. And we also wanted to add an El Segundo sign to represent our community. The current state of the press box in the George Brett Field is not in the best condition. We wanted to renovate this to make it look a bit more modern and a bit more clean.
In our initial poll, around 65% of respondents reported that the overall condition of the bathrooms was terrible.
In a second poll, we asked how they would feel about changing the colors in the restrooms to something lighter, and about 71% thought this would be a good idea. This then led to the idea of making the girls' and boys' bathrooms color coordinated. We would have greens and blues for the boys' side and pinks and oranges for the girls' side. This is a bird's eye view and just a rough draft of what we thought the inside of the girls' and boys' restroom could look like.
In our initial poll, 81% of respondents said they never used the hockey rink at Red Park.
Although a big percentage stated that they never used this hockey rink, we needed to account for the people that do use it. Therefore, we are not going to entirely tear this down, as it is utilized by some people. Instead, we decided that we should add a bit more greenery and some comfortable seating. We also wanted to add some bistro lighting for when it is utilized at night.
In our second poll, we asked respondents if either they or somebody they knew would attend roller skating classes, and around 75% said that they would.
This roller rink could be used for those attending roller skating classes over the summer, but it could also be used for once-a-week roller skating nights. In our second poll, we asked the respondents if they would be interested in replacing the old scoreboard with the new LED scoreboard, and 51% stated that they definitely would like this. 64% of respondents stated that they would like renovations for the batting cages. The current conditions of the batting cages are pretty dirty and unsafe.
Our overall goal for the batting cages is to have a more clean, welcoming vibe. We also want better storage and more safety features.
The overall cost of our renovations is roughly $204,927.
Our committee has a focus on renovating the teen center to make it more welcoming and enjoyable environment for people who choose to go. Currently, our teen center has been through a lot of neglect. Through our polls, a staggering number of teens do not see the teen center as a place to spend their time, with about 41% of our respondents reporting that they've never even gone before. We believe that the decrepit features create an unwelcoming environment and drive people away. The couches are run down, the games barely function, and a lack of light causes dark and dreary ambiance. Additionally, the outdoor skate park and basketball court receives constant critiques. The most notable includes the uneven ground of the court and that it's unsafe. One of our main changes that was heavily influenced by our original poll is the addition of a small gym, putting workout machines with limited weights for safety as well as clearly labeled signs of the risk for liability issues. This allows the public to stay in shape and move towards a more fit community. As for the study room, we will implement a design inspired by our high school library's private rooms with an Apple TV, whiteboard, table, and chairs to encourage students to come study, hold a tutor or club meetings, or simply find a quiet space with their friends. Additionally, providing free Wi-Fi service will be an appealing feature to teens, both socially and academically. For the stage area, high-quality sound system, overhead projector, and karaoke machine are to be installed for fun community events. This includes movie nights and small gatherings to bring the teens of El Segundo together for a fun time. In addition to the vending machines, we plan to add a snack bar with a microwave, hot water kettle, sink, and plastic utensil dispensers, so students can enjoy more snack options like freshly popped popcorn, hot chocolate, and even cups of noodles picked out from our new additional vending machine. Originally, the Teen Center contained a couple games that, throughout the years, have become outdated. To revive the arcade, 6 new games, including but not limited to Pac-Man and Mario Kart, will be installed. This will create a fun, exciting attraction to the Teen Center that will woo teenagers. Besides renovation updates to the structural safety of the basketball court with repavement and new installation of lights, we will transform the court to become multi-purpose, to allow teens with a variety of interests to use the court area. Also, since there's already plans for the skate park proposed, we will include these changes to our new and improved Teen Center. Like many of the other bathrooms in Rec Park, the Teen Center will be updated with brand new restrooms. They will be simple but clean that will allow for easy maintenance. To achieve our plans, this project will cost an estimated $805,173. This includes renovations to the restroom, basketball court, skate park, arcade, gym, study room, stage, snack bar, furniture, and the overall structure. This concludes all of our proposed changes for the Teen Center. These changes will ensure a safe and welcoming area so that the community can continuously use this space to its fullest potential.
So to conclude, our innovations and renovations sum up to just under $17 million. I personally enjoyed the bowling alley and the mini golf the most, as well as the organized roller rink nights. Either way, thank you so much for listening, and I hope our ideas and plans could impact El Segundo in the future.
We're going to have the 2 minutes before everyone starts asking their questions.
Yeah, it was all over the... What was... I didn't get there a while fast.
I didn't get there a while fast either, and I was
Can I have the period 5 council members step up, please? Please share your name and your area.
My name is Shane. I did the checkout building in the amphitheater.
I'm Eva, and I did the hockey rink and the picnic tables.
I'm Kana, and I did the bowling alley, the mini golf course, and the bottom floor of the multi-generational center.
And I'm Cheryl, and I did the teen center.
I'm Dana. I did the softball field, the baseball field, the top 2 floors of the multi-generational center, and that community garden.
Good morning, my name is Riley. My team did the tennis courts, the basketball courts, and the lawn bowling field.
All right, I'm gonna have Sam go, and we'll go back the table like we did last time.
So I had a couple questions. I just wanted to clarify what the wow factor was.
It was the bowling alley and the mini golf.
Okay. And then my other question was, I know the daycare is next to the bowling alley, and I just wanted to ask.
Actually, the bowling alley is where the Jocelyn Center was, and our daycare is on the bottom floor of the multi-generational center, so they're...
Okay, so they're separate?
Yes.
Okay. That was just my question.
Can you guys explain your thought process behind the mini golf in the bowling alley?
So we had taken an original poll in our first poll. We wanted to know kind of what the community wanted us to implement in the park and some of their ideas. So we had put a few ideas like an arcade, a gym, like things like that. And we had them fill out the poll, and there was an option for them to input other things. And those were some of the highly requested ones.
And we also thought that it would be a good area to gain profit from for the park.
All right, so for the golf course, the mini golf course, is the equipment for that going to be provided by Rec Park? Like, you're going to go to checkout building, or are people going to bring their own?
Yeah, it's going to be through the checkout building.
And also for the bowling alley, is that going to be turn a profit, or is it just going to be like there?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
It'll be turned to profit.
First of all, I want to congratulate you guys. Great video. You guys did a lot of. I see your hard work and everything poured down to your video. So good job on that. My question is regarding the outdoor spacing. So although you guys have a lot of indoor activities, how do you plan on still pushing the communities to use the outdoor spaces and grass and stuff like that?
Yeah. So specifically what we addressed in that is that the outdoor garden space that we had by the new multi-generational center, that would be like an open place that invited the community in. As we said in the video, they would have educational plaques that, showed the kids about why water conservation is important, and also educate them about California native plants, get them involved in that, as well as the actual taking care of the garden with the community stuff. And that would really get the kids and other community members hands-on interaction with outdoor activities.
Also, to add on, we still have the big green area where a lot of the summer camps take place, and that we also have the playground so the kids can play outside. We have all the fields, and where the George Brett field is, there's that big open area where they remove the fence as well.
All right, thank you.
So you guys said the bowling alley is going to replace the Jocelyn Center. Regarding all the senior citizens there, what are you going to do in terms of their programs, and you're moving the senior citizens, and it'll be insanely crowded in the bowling alley, whereas maybe senior citizens don't want that?
Well, the senior citizens and their activities would be moved to the multi-generational center. They're specifically on the second floor, which is like the ground level floor that you enter in the building. They would also have all the elevator access to the other floors of the building, so the senior center would be moved into the new multi-generational building, so they would not be put out, don't worry.
Okay.
Sorry. I have a couple questions. First of all, can you guys clear up kind of what you're doing with the skate park? Because, just specifically the skate park, is it just the plans, or is it more?
There were plans from, I think it was 2019 that the city had, so we're just using those plans because they took account into modern updates that a lot of the skaters wanted, and the skate park is the most used part of the teen center, so we just decided to use those plans.
So what do those plans include?
There was a bowl, and I don't really know skate terms and stuff, but it's just a modern version from I think it was 2019 that they had, I think, online of the El Segundo skate park.
I believe another group showed it. It said El Segundo on the top. It was when Billy was talking, he showed the El Segundo's plans for it.
And then my other question is, how many people do you guys plan on needing to staff the bowling alley?
We wanted to give more opportunities for jobs and everything, so throughout the community, and with having the bowling alley there, we felt that it would give local people and teens a job, because I know a lot of us teenagers are looking for jobs always, or like need a way for profit. So.
Sorry, real quick, just one more quick question. And you guys are renting out the shoes and the balls, correct? Thank you.
Okay, I had two questions. In one area of the park, you guys said that you were looking to do gender-neutral bathrooms, and then a separate part of the park, you guys are doing color-coordinated bathrooms. Are you guys making any updates to those color-coordinated bathrooms? Because you didn't discuss this, like updated features like toilets, sinks, all that kind of stuff. You didn't discuss that in the videos. You just decided to paint. Yeah, blue and pink.
That was actually in my group's video. I don't know why it wasn't there, but we had like a whole floor plan. We were gonna replace the tiling and the painting and stuff, and we were gonna update the toilets and add mirrors, since the mirrors in the current bathroom are like tin plates.
Yeah. And and my second question was, what are you guys planning to do with the extra room that's in the third three-story building? Because there's no added clubs besides the ones that are from the Jocelyn Center, like the senior activity clubs. Are you guys planning to do, like, I know a lot of classes are doing like cooking, painting, like all that kind of stuff.
So
What are you guys trying to
in the
do?
video, as it was stated, on the third floor, that is where we would have the office space. You know, on the very top is the office space. I believe that is also where we put the kitchen area, because the senior center and the more public area would be on the second floor. So we wanted to have that sort of like liability of a kitchen and stuff out and away from the seniors and people who would need more supervision. So the top is mostly for a multi-generational like use. They have like projection rooms and stuff, but it's mainly office space and for staff to use.
Well, that wasn't really my question. I was asking about if you guys, I was asking if you guys were planning to implement any new clubs.
Any new clubs? I do not believe that.
Or classes, yeah. And what is the educational part of your project? Like, there has to be the educational aspect.
Well, we have the rooms and offices in the multi-generational center as well as in the teen center, because we know a lot of the focus for like schooling and stuff are used with like the teens. So having the study rooms in the teen center with like tutors and all that as well.
Are those rec park offices going to be used for the officials or students?
Yeah, that's going to be used for the rec park staff, the people who would work in the building and around the building.
And are you guys just planning to update the current gym in the teen center?
Go. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna make it a multi-purpose, so not just basketball players could play, so like multiple sports could just use it, yeah.
Are you guys planning to put, sorry, I just keep asking questions, but like types of machines, how many weightlifting space and stuff? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, we're gonna do, we did a poll and they wanted like simple machines, but we also have to do the liability stuff, so we can't just have all the max weights on there, so we're gonna do limited weights and stuff like that, yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, first I just want to say I really like your guys' project a great deal. I also want to say I really like your idea about the bowling alley. I think it sounds like a great way for the city to make some money back on this, especially because we don't really have a bowling alley here in El Segundo or really in the immediate surrounding area. So I think it's really potentially a great opportunity. I'm told that we would have to set up an enterprise fund to do that. As well as potentially for the mini golf, although we also get some money from Topgolf for recreation. I wanted to mention the gardening thing. I like your guys' idea about growing stuff in the garden and then using it for the cooking classes. Although I'm told that there may be some public health like regulations and stuff surrounding that. So a like nonprofit might need to do that.
Well, what we were doing is we were taking the idea of the current Jocelyn Center has that community garden, and when my group went over and talked to some of the staff, supposedly the staff had told them that some of the seniors do like take the finished vegetables home and stuff, and so that's already going out into the community currently, and that is not seen as a problem by our officials right now, so we did not consider that to be a problem in the future.
All right.
I think it would also just be up to them if they actually want to eat it or not. But that's not like the whole point of a cooking class, with all due respect. So you don't actually have to eat the food that you make if you don't want to.
Yeah.
I know that you guys are implementing the new skate, the roller skating night, as well as the mini golf and the bowling alley. These are a lot of new job opportunities to be managing and helping out with rentals. Would these primarily go towards El Segundo High School teenagers? Specifically the seniors?
Yeah, I think that it would either be like teenagers from the high school that are trying to get jobs, or we could open up the possibility for volunteering so that people can get community service hours, which will look good on college applications.
Great idea.
I was wondering if you guys can elaborate on how the activities such as the weekly roller rink days will promote community activity.
So with the roller skating nights, we feel that it will get, as they said in their poll, a lot of people have never used that roller skating rink except for the people who like play roller hockey. So having those nights and promoting them will get more of our community to come. I just moved here over the summer and I have roller skates, and the first thing my dad told me about the park was that I should use the like rink as a roller skating rink, and I guess that's where the idea came from, but I don't think it's actually open for that. And since our poll said that it was the hockey rink is underutilized, we thought that it would be a good idea to open it up to more of like an age range of people to use it.
So would this be like the Toyota Center with the ice skating rink, where you can rent skates and have like a Friday night where you can skate with like music and with your friends?
Yeah, we didn't want to like build a whole new building for like rentals, but we thought it would be like easy to like set up like a desk to like rent things if you need to.
And would we be able to contract that out?
We'll look into that.
So I do like the idea with bowling. My main concern would be availability. So there would only be 6 bowling lanes. Do you think that would be enough to accommodate for the community?
We had a limited amount of space because of where the Jocelyn Center was, so we felt that 6 lanes was appropriate for the amount of space, especially since people in the town said that they wanted like a little food area in there to buy snacks and eat with their families. We were thinking of reservations so that you could reserve it, and we'd want more people to come, so being able to reserve it, you make more
In my mind, I think 6 bowling alleys is better than no bowling alleys, so having them is important.
And then my friend Trevor here informed me that you guys would be charging like $10 for one bowling game, and so I was wondering how you would be able to profit off of that, and also were your maintenance costs included for that in that total budget to be able to keep the bowling alley running?
I'm not sure that we considered that entirely into our budget, but I think like kind of similar to what Shane said, some profit is better than no profit, and nobody wants to pay like $30 to bowl.
Okay, just for time constraints, I'm gonna jump to Bianca.
I thought you were going to cut me off real quick. Lucky you, I only have one question. So with the noise issue, did you correlate the percentage of people that answered they had no issue with the percentage of people that live in El Segundo? Because as a resident of Westchester, I would be more likely to incline that I have no issue with it, so I just wanted to know.
Yeah, so another part that was pulled out of our poll was that our plan is to dig into the ground and hopefully like have the speakers only towards the crowd, and so hopefully wouldn't be exceeding into the community as much. But in our poll, we asked the people around the park, and the people around there had said that they had no worry with the sound, so yeah.
And
Gotcha.
also similar to what Damien said, the like science-y aspect of it, sound would travel across the park since it's facing into the park, so the noise issue would be with people within the park rather than the community surrounding it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I just want to explain to all of you right now, we're going to give each group 2 minutes to come up and recap their projects real quick and the highlights of them so all of you got that fresh in your memory. Then we're going to give you guys about 10 minutes to discuss, and then we're going to ask for a first round of voting.
Should we just start down the line? Yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready? I think we're just gonna speak, and then when it's done, it's not gonna take longer than 2 minutes. I don't think. Yeah, period one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my part of the park was the Clubhouse, and it was this 3-story multi-generational building. First story being Jocelyn Center, second being multi-purpose, and third being the Clubhouse. And in those, we have many new programs, and we have the astronomy class, we have the cooking class, we have the arts center, we have a cycling class, we have 2 yoga rooms, and we have many office spaces inside there. And we have the game center for the Jocelyn, for the senior center, senior citizens, and we have a library in there. And on top of it, we have the community garden with many seatings.
So I have the Stevenson field and the softball field, as well as where the Jocelyn Center used to be, which is now going to be the new playground. So we put in examples of what the community actually wanted in the playground instead of just replacing what we already had. So we have the seesaw and the circular swing, and we have the swings and a zip line. A lot of people really liked those ideas, as well as the splash pad, which we thought was a semi-wow factor. It wasn't our complete wow factor, but it is a big part that a lot of people are going to enjoy, and it's going to bring a lot more people to the park. And especially during like hot summer days, it's very like helpful for the kids to like, you know, instead of a pool, like that's the closest we can get. And yeah.
Damien, my section of the group covered for the amphitheater and the fire section, or fire pit section. For these 2 sections, mainly for getting more community members partly involved in the community. And one key part another group made, I'd like to say, is you can't rely on citizens to know if they'll mind something until it's already there. People complain once it's already there, they won't know till then. They can't say, oh, I won't mind noise until it's already there. That's when we'll get the complaints, not beforehand. But we can use science to try to dictate this as much as possible and eliminate any of these problems. By accommodating for this, such as our design square and verse law and all that, we can reduce the chance of complaints and bring more community members together. By letting more community members schedule their own events with the amphitheater, we can increase the community's strength and bring more initiative to the community, which can echo down to our education system and overall increase initiative, which generally is seen to help with economic stability in the future and the strength of our town.
So in conclusion, we believe that our park redesign is the most beneficial and long-term plan. And since we maintain realistic expectations, and since we're adding the dog park, you know, maintaining the sports courts and adding what the community wants to see.
Should I go first?
Name and area, please.
Okay, so I had the teen center, and what I think is the most beneficial for the teen center is like implementing the tutoring sessions and having the clubs and courses for the teens there, and also like making it more inviting and having more activities such as the karaoke machine and like adding more seatings because the ones that are there now are pretty run down. I also think adding the TVs is pretty good because there's not much entertainment you can do there now, so having that will make it more accessible to different variety of teenagers.
And then also with the clubhouse building, we have the senior center on the first floor because it's the most accessible, and then we have accounted in the 3rd floor for all of the extra staff that we'll be needing, and we even have a daycare center. And all the kids in the daycare, with the help of a caretaker or 2, will be able to use all the amenities at our building, such as the robotics classes. They can take cooking classes, they can do pottery, they can paint art, and now they have all these activities that they can do. And
I think generally we're not too like flashy, maybe things that just like draw your attention, but our stuff will work. It's practical, and it'll take us into the next years. As far as the courts, we have enough space for everyone who uses the actual courts, We removed the ones that don't work. We don't have tons of like multi-purpose courts so that everyone can have their own space, but we do have one in the teen center so that extra people can come and use those. Also, our playground is off to the side. It's where the Jocelyn Center used to be. So there's going to be a large field that's there as well, so people can use the field and then the playground separately from that.
And also, we since it's where the Jocelyn Center is, there's going to be more parking closer to the playground, which is easy for strollers and parents who want to take their children to the playgrounds.
And going off of what Kai said about being practical, a big part of it really is just being realistic with what we're doing. And, the bathrooms in particular, I think, are the one absolute necessity of the park. You need the bathrooms no matter what, because everyone's a part of it. And so, I mean, they just suck right now. And so I think there's a lot we can do. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to make them better. So I think there really should be. And we're not, well, I in particular with the garden also, I think the garden could be one of the most attractive and beautiful parts of the park, but a lot of people don't even know that it's there, and so we're just, focusing on making everything, realistic.
Going in depth with all of them said, basically just touching off on the baseball fields, the idea of our park was to advance in 10 years. So how do we see our park in 10 years? And if we just motivate, renovate, do everything we can to change it. For example, the baseball fields, if we just add all the turf, everything, see how our field looks in 10 years, I think it'll be a perfect setup.
Oh, yeah. Fine. I said I was going to be here. Everybody, don't forget you. Yeah, no. Is it where? There we go. On the playground front, I think that what we really strive for is looking at other modern parks and people that planned for the next, 10, 20, 30 years. Within the last 7 years, and having everything modeled after that really creates a good foundation for the future and for the generations. And also, thank you for your service in the Navy, Mayor Boyles. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just introduce the building and the Jocelyn Center, and I'll go after you.
So, basically, for the new Jocelyn Center, we believe it's extremely practical for the elderly people, since normally they have their media room, game room, and eating area. We believe for them it's beneficial to move it from over there, since there's parking over there, because normally they have lift rides and stuff to bring them from their actual homes to here to actually have fun for once in their lives, the last days. But yeah. What? I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. Here you go. Cool.
Okay. And then along with the Jocelyn Center, which will be included in the 3-story building, on the second floor, so the first floor is the Jocelyn Center, the second floor is going to be the renovated daycare that includes the arts and crafts room, and then the third floor is the general area, which also includes the educational aspect, and it includes one computer room with 2 MacBook computers and a printer available for anyone in the community, along with 2 study rooms, and a larger conference room, which are very similar to the new renovations in the library, so they include TVs and new furniture, and we also included Wi-Fi into the approximated cost. And on the last floor, there's also going to be a general lounge area. It's not meant to be too busy, just somewhere where people can wait or chat with their friends. And then we also included a newly renovated kitchen, and the rooms in the kitchen will allow for stuff like pottery classes, cooking classes, general arts and crafts, as well as an open space on the Jocelyn floor where chairs can be removed, which can be used for yoga or dance classes. And then lastly, on the outside, the patio area, which sometimes is used for skateboarding, we decided to put in a community fire patio with seating.
Okay, so one of our main things we wanted to focus on was making the park eco-friendly and sustainable. So that is where our solar panels come in, and the solar panels produce about half of the energy that the park consumes, which would reduce the cost of electricity. And then we also have electric vehicle chargers, since more people are using electric cars, which is better for the environment. And then we also incorporated drought-resistant plants along the path, which is 700 feet of drought-resistant plants, which would reduce the water usage of the park.
Going along with like the solar energy, we're powering the teen center with solar energy because the teen center is very dark anyways. So in our model, we plan to add more windows and power it with solar energy. And then for the dog area, we separate it into bigger dogs and smaller dogs for those who would be concerned with that. And then our skate park area, we're extending it into the basketball court, considering our indoor gym. So this would allow, it would attract more people because that's one of the most used aspects of the teen center.
I had the checkout building, which most of the other groups got rid of, but I thought that it was most convenient in the area right there next to the tennis courts and the ping pong courts. And it would also provide more bathrooms for different guests, which is very important. And then we also changed tennis court 1 into a pickleball court because pickleball is very up and coming, I guess, with the older female generation, I guess. And then we included more water resistant plants over there by the tennis courts.
And just to close out, the biggest aspect of our project, besides the eco-friendliness, is the indoor basketball gym, which I just want to emphasize again is the main focus was to make it sustainable for 10 years and onwards, to have it be accessible and interesting, have something to do for people of all age groups, have something to do for people that live here, and make it something that brings the community together. So while some events may be catered towards a certain age group, it's something that all age groups can do. So there might be a bingo night, which is more catered towards older people, but young people can be involved with it. And like I said, the basketball leagues, volleyball leagues, people will come to support their children, people will come to support their friends, and it'll be very unifying for the community. And it's very multi-purpose, which is another big aspect. We wanted it to be an open space that can be used for movie nights, dodgeball tournaments, along with the, intended basketball purpose. And like Mr. Gass said earlier, we know the school gym is not often available, so we wanted to create something else. We know a lot of other sports from the high school do have to come to Rec Park to practice or play matches, so it's something that will be available to everyone. And yeah, thank you.
So just to start our recap, with the new multi-generational center building with all 3 stories, we wanted to make sure that we implemented resources for all generations, as we had shown with the senior floor and the office space for the park employees, and as we'll get to later, the infant center on the bottom floor. The garden center that was right next to the building that would replace that concrete circle area and just that grass lawn would be a really big draw from the public and really get the younger generation and even the older generation directly involved with nature and just getting educated about the importance of drought resistance in our community with our changing climate and all this stuff with our state.
I had most of our wow factors, and we wanted something that the community wanted. So from our polls, we know that it would get a lot of use, and we wanted something that could give the teens in our community jobs and anyone in our community really jobs in general and make a profit. So we feel that those options would be nice.
So my part was the checkout building. I think it's really important to have something that like all ages can use. Similar to the teen center, it has pool tables, has like arcade games, things like that. But I think it's meant for like the adults and it's more accommodating. And then as for the amphitheater, I think it provides like a good outdoors. Like it allows people to be outdoors. They can watch their kids, or they can watch like their friends being plays and things like that. So I think it's a good opportunity for the community to come together.
So our team was associated with the tennis courts, basketball courts, and lawn bowling field. We wanted to remodel the tennis courts to a new, more modern aesthetic, as we mentioned in our video. And as by our polling data, a lot of people utilize the tennis courts at the rec park. And because of this, we decided to remodel them instead of change them to other sport options. Basketball courts, same, and the reason for moving, as in the mention of the video, for the small park and big park next to the Jocelyn Center, or is it, no, it's the new multi-generational building, sorry, is because of the new building that's being put there. Wouldn't be space for the parks, so we're moving them down to the lawn bowling field. new parks. The new children's park will get all the new, sorry, will get all of the new equipment.
My committee was in charge of opening up the roller rink and also remodeling the gendered restrooms and the picnic tables.
So for the Team Center, our plans, we aim to create a safe environment for teenagers to keep them off the streets and in a safer place, and just having fun there, and as well as having education and this form of study rooms, and yeah.
So kind of to wrap it all up, I think our group really focuses on like the activities and giving things for like community members to do. So those things, they include like the bowling, they include going to certain places. So I think while like the park right now gives the opportunity for people to do things, I think we're setting forth those examples.
Just a quick side mention. I wanted to thank all of the team leaders and city council members for being here, and all of your thanks for all of my class and other classes for their hard work. But me, along with other people, I'm assuming, wanted to thank you for all being here, and Mayor Boyles and other city council members for organizing this, and for all of our team leaders, not just for my class, but for other classes. And thank you, Mr. Gast. Of course. Thank you, Mr. Gast. Yes, and thank you to all the team leaders for your hard work.
Mayor Boyles, how long do you usually consider before you vote? Can we do five minutes, or just go? Should we just run a vote?
Typically, we're thinking and coming up with our questions. Questions get addressed by staff and others, and then we deliberate and vote. So, I mean, I think we're probably ready at this point, right?
Let's vote, because we need to be out in 25 minutes.
All right, how do you want to do that, Mr. Gast?
I would have the kids run that. I don't know how you usually run a vote. It's public vote, right? Do you go down the line and call each other's name?
Can you reiterate who's got the vote here? Raise your hand if you have a vote. Everyone up here, including city manager and city clerk. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll just follow Robert's rule of order, which is someone will make a motion on something that they like as the first one. We'll see if it gets a second. We'll go to the vote. Okay, that's how we would do it in council. We wouldn't necessarily rank them all. So let me confer with the two mayors here for a sec.
All right. Do I get a motion to recommend a project?
Motion to have period 5s win.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All right, so we go into voting?
I third that. Which one is period 5? Is that
That's the last one.
The last one. Are they all in your group?
No.
Oh, okay.
So they've seconded it, so then you go to.
So all in favor of period 5, raise your hand.
Don't have a consensus. You need 7 votes.
Motion does not carry.
Would anyone like to make a second motion
I'd
for the period?
like to make a motion for period 4.
Is that group number?
Anybody second? Anybody second that motion?
Wait, which one's group 4? Can you raise your hand?
That's the third one.
Third.
I second that.
Madam Clerk, can you restate who made the motion and who made the second on that, please?
I cannot.
All right, who made the original
Who
motion?
made the motion? That's for you. You can ask.
Okay, who made the second?
I don't know what's happening.
Who made the second?
Did it? I thought you made the second.
All right, we have a first and a second.
I second that. Yeah? No? Okay.
Okay.
All right, can we call for a vote? All in favor, raise your hands.
This is for 5, period 5.
No, period 4.
Period 4, keep your hands up. 6. It's 12 of us, right? Motion isn't carried.
Motion does not carry.
No, we got to see if the other motions, we don't have an approved motion yet, so we're going to go to another motion, and then we'll go from there. We're not doing rank voting.
Does anyone have a motion? Layla.
I move approval of period 3.
Does anyone second that?
That'd be the second group.
I second that motion. All raise your hand. All in favor, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Motion does not pass.
I'd like to make a motion for first period.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All in favor, raise your hands. Motion does not carry.
Out of all periods, period 4 had the most votes. Objection.
Mayor?
Mayor.
Not listening to me. Madam Mayor. Madam Mayors.
All right, so clearly there's a consensus for period 4, so can we call for a revote? All in favor, raise your hands.
Well, you got to call for the motion.
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
Good.
Can I call for a motion to revote?
What the mayor is saying is that period 4 had the most votes by far. We're close to having a majority vote. So I think what we would like is someone to move approval of period 4 again, and then we'll revote.
So does anyone motion to revote?
I motion.
Does anyone second that?
I second that.
All right, all in favor, raise your hands of approving period 4. Correct. 1, 2. How is it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're actually approving to revote. So then you need a motion for period 4 all over again.
That's what, okay, just to be clear, we were looking for period 4, raise your hands back there. That group had 6 votes, correct? We were close to majority, so what we're looking to do here is get someone to move approval of period 4 and revote. See if we get majority.
So all in favor of voting for period 4 on approval, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So here's it.
Does the How many votes do we need? Wait, if I'm correct, we only need 7 votes, right? So that's just one more than before, right?
Wait, hold on. All right, what we're gonna do, Guys, what we're gonna do is vote between two periods, the periods with the most votes. So we're gonna vote between period 4 and 5. Can I have a motion to approve one of those periods? Oh,
A motion to approve period 5? Oh, we're doing a duel.
all right. So you can only vote for 5 or 4. You can only have one vote. All in favor of voting for period 4, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. That's majority. Right? So we won?
All right. Done. Period 4 won. 7 votes. Let the record, we can revisit the record, but we did state you get 1 vote, and it got 7 votes. We have approval. We're moving on. Thank you all very much. All right, Mr. Gast, what's next? Great job.
I think we would call this to an end. I think we should take a photo, and then I think Cable needs to interview a bunch of people.
Yeah, can I just make a comment? I just wanted to thank everybody for your professionalism, your ability to articulate your ideas. You really impress, and I just want to thank everybody, especially the ones that really dressed up and presented well today. You know, coming in front of a group of people it's not easy, and I think you guys just really stepped it up, and I just want to thank you all for really participating and doing a great job.
All right, so Craig, what, any final comments from staff? Portland, who is instrumental, I don't know if he's here, or Daryl, anything, any final comments?
No, just that some really great ideas, and I look forward to sharing some of those as we move forward with the staff. Thank you very much. It was very creative and thoughtful and presented very well. Thank you.
Yeah, and real quickly, City Council, a couple of us were discussing really great ideas. If you take all of the projects as a whole and you pick components of each one of them, we think we have something really good to work with. More importantly, you're all part of the democratic process. Now you understand what this is about, which is why Mr. Gast had you here. We hope that you get inspired. My predecessor, Suzanne Fuentes, the former mayor, she went through this process many years ago at El Segundo High and became a city council member and a mayor. So we look forward to great things, and I cannot stress enough how bright the future of El Segundo looks with these young men and women. So you guys are all very impressive, and thank you for all your time. Let's give the kids a round of applause. So photos, where do you want to do photos? Right here?
I think we did it up here last time. I just want to take a moment to thank Scott, Carol, Mayor Drew Burrows, Chris, and Lance. Thank you for your time and working with our kids. City manager, the clerk, these gentlemen over here did all kinds of work with us. They took time out of their day and met with kids who had questions, and we spent 2 or 3 hours at the park answering questions, and I just really appreciate all of the city officials. And mostly Portland and I have been working together to plan the whole thing. We've done dozens of emails and planning, and so thank you, Portland, for also participating. Also, Barbara Voss was also critical of this, even though she could not make it here today. Thank all of you for working with our kids. We need a class portrait up here. So last time, you guys just stood up and back. Give us an extra row. No, I'm not. Not at all. Oh my gosh, this is so scary. No, it's not. All right. Thanks, people. I got it. It's got wheels. Okay, we're gonna get everybody. No worries. We gotta get everybody. mega wide lens.
Guys, Robert is on the chair. If you can't see him, he can't
No, oh, yeah. If you can't see me, you gotta get your eyes checked. All right, I see everybody. We're gonna take several photos. Mr. Pimentel, would you come a little closer? You're hiding in the back. Excellent. I see everybody. This is great. Okay. So we're gonna take several photos to make sure blinks and stuff. And I can replace them in Photoshop. Good eye. Okay. Very good. Everybody ready? All right.
I can pick it up.
All right. Wait, I'm waiting for this young fella right here. All right. Very good. No worries. No worries. Here we go. And first photo. Next photo. One more photo. And one more photo. Thank you very much.
Don't move. Can we do one shout out? What's up, El Segundo? From everyone? 5, 4, 3, 2. What's up, El Segundo?
Whoa, that was enthusiastic.
That's pretty good.
Good job, Dan.
Yeah, I was like, what?